there's going to be an issue.
We got this. Grindhouse Movie Club. That's good.
Get it all out.
I saw there's apparently a 5K walk coming up, sponsored by the hospital for head and neck cancer.
Oh my.
So you might want to participate if you're sounding like that every day.
Cancer from the shoulders up, eh?
Yeah, just you keep. And so the fucking billboard says head and neck above cancer 5K walk.
Interesting. It's an interesting billboard. My phone just had, there was nothing was going on. I just had the camera open, so it was like taking pictures of the side of my leg.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That way people know where you are. If you ever turn up missing, which is a misnomer because you can't turn up missing, and your phone is still around, at least we have your last known whereabouts on it, right in a chair.
This chair where I always am.
Yeah, at the very least, we know where your thigh was.
My last known location will always be this chair where I always am. So if you're ever wondering where I might be, in this chair right now.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen Matt in a few days. Did you check the chair?
Yeah. Oh, there he is under that pile of clothes. Yeah, he's there.
Good.
He's it's like E.T. amongst the stuffed animals, but it's just my face, just dirty laundry, and my face in the dirty laundry.
You whisper, "I'll do it later."
I'm busy.
What could you possibly be busy doing under those dirty clothes?
Just clicking in Photoshop randomly. That's all I'm doing. Just moving pixels around. So yeah, welcome to the podcast,
Grindhouse Movie Club.
Grindhouse
which I said earlier,
Movie Club.
when somebody decided to pretty much clear all of the demons out of their possessed body while I said it.
Well, yeah, you got to get all of them out now.
You do.
And then that way they don't come out during the podcast.
But then what are you going to do during the exorcism? They're gone. I'm sorry.
Oh, there's always tickles in my throat. Don't worry. I'm always in between tickles in my throat.
You're possessed by a throat demon.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. Just get it out of me. I just want it out so that I can do the podcast without
gargling like a fucking your mouthwash in the morning.
Yeah, I don't want people to know that this is the first bunch of words I've said today. Like, it's been like 12 hours since I've said words.
Yeah. So. I've opened my mouth once to drink water.
Yeah, exactly. Boom. I didn't even do that. I had a straw, so.
I pursed my mouth once. Just preparing.
Welcome to the podcast. We'll thank Andrew for the theme song.
Andrew killing it with the theme song these days.
Oh yeah,
keeping
it real with that theme song. Go to darkroastcult.com. After you listen to the theme song, go to the .com.
And let me tell you,
that's the way we do it here.
Get ready for a podcast unhindered by ad breaks for the foreseeable future.
No ad breaks.
Really, just if there's ever ads, they'll be about as succinct and quick and at the beginning as talking about what the name of the podcast is.
Yeah, because I mean, like, look, just like that, it's already done.
Yeah,
quick and painless, like just like a finger in the butt at the doctor's place. And
I don't know if that's quick or painless. He really feels around in there to make sure everything's
they maintain conversation. So you're like, oh, hey, sorry, more like a needle. It's more like getting your vaccination.
Yeah, that's better.
There you go.
Quick and painless unless you're phobic of needles.
Even still, like, if they maintain conversation, like a finger in the butt, you don't notice.
That's true. I guess you could get away with that. I don't know about the finger in the butt part. I'd like to think that the person with their finger in my asshole isn't trying to, like, talk about the weather with me. It's been really chilly these days.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, you're right. I'd prefer them to concentrate on the task at hand.
Yeah, and get it over with and done as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Stop feeling around in there and just look for what you're looking for.
It's not like I just ran into you at the grocery store.
Yeah, it's not like... Actually, it's exactly like you're feeling around inside the couch. Like, if you're looking
just
for
get
your
keys and get out.
Yeah, you always want to just be like quick, because it's just like crumbs from everything you've ever eaten while sitting down.
You don't want to accidentally feel a gooey thing.
Yeah. Oh God. And speaking of gooey things, for those of you who have nothing to cover the top half of your body with, we're going to be coming out with shirts soon.
I'm as close to a never nude as you can get. I wear shirts to the beach. I wear them swimming in pools at people's houses. If I could wear clothes and shower and still get clean, I probably would.
You know what? I wish I could be as free as you are. Because, like, that's a good way to not get a sunburn on your tattoos.
100%.
So-
And also, it's a really great way to not be so cripplingly self-conscious about my fucking body
Hey,
that I stop having fun with the thing I'm doing.
well, you gotta do what you gotta do. And
It's like
also, it's good for your skin.
That's probably great for your skin to wear a shirt most often. Long, disrespectful sip of bubbly. Just
So, yeah, we're shirts. We're coming out with
Shirts
them.
are coming, guys. I'm probably, after this podcast, going to try and go home and work on some. I'm really just trying to tap inspiration and ideas here, and I got fuck for that. So we got to work on that.
It's fair. Inspiration is fleeting.
It is.
Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not.
You know when it's there? 2:30 in the fucking morning, when the
Yes.
last thing I want to do is get up and remember that thought.
Well, what you should do is just like have a notebook close to your bed, so you don't have to get up.
You're telling me the act of writing doesn't wake you up more, though?
Nah.
Okay.
Well, that, or you could just like jot it down in your phone notes.
I imagine it would end up like the fucking Seinfeld episode where Jerry does that, and then he just walks around for the whole episode trying to get people to read it like a doctor's prescription.
I do remember that episode. You know what? Speaking of Seinfeld,
Yeah, sure.
This movie that we did this week was a Castle Rock Entertainment joint.
Is that also Seinfeld?
Yeah, it is.
I did not know that.
At the end where it's like, ba-na-na-na-na,
Yeah.
and you see that little like lighthouse.
And then you get right after that, I think it's like the MGM song. Like both of those things go together in my head forever.
Yeah, I think so. But so what movie did we do this week?
Well, we did a classic Stephen King novel adaptation.
I feel like this is the first one that we've done.
I am inclined to agree. There are so many. It was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Misery, everybody.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't it.
Well, which one?
Either. I don't have time.
Yeah, 3-hour movies sure are long, aren't they?
Yeah, like if we ever do that, that's going to be the one where we have to split it into two.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-part. Well, in a way, you could almost, because, like, especially with the version from the 80s, like, it's a double-sided VHS tape. You know?
Yeah.
So you could, like, you know exactly where to cut it into the next episode, right?
Well, yeah, I think that's probably the way to go.
Yeah.
None of this new bullshit.
If we were to do it, also, I want to make sure that you know that we would be doing the original It.
Oh yeah, I've not seen that one yet.
I'm not fucking. You haven't seen the first It.
No.
Oh my!
As a child, I was told about it, and I was like, oh no, thank you.
Bro, that movie's good. It's so
clowns
silly.
in the sewer. I don't think so.
It's silly as all get out, but I will tell you, the newer one in comparison, not as good. It's a decent movie, but it's not that good. I don't give a shit about James McAvoy is the thing. I like him in some things. I don't think he was a good cast for a Stephen King's It movie.
Well, I don't know who you're talking about.
You ever see Wanted?
I don't know what you're talking
You ever
about.
see Split?
I fucking love Split.
Yeah, well, that's James McAvoy.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, now he's good in that.
Yeah.
He's good in Wanted. He's good in a couple other things. Wanted is an Angelina Jolie assassin movie.
Yes, it is.
And it's fucking fantastic.
Is that the one where they curve the
It
bullets?
sure the fuck is.
Yes.
I don't give a shit who has a negative thing to say about the fact that they curve bullets. In this universe, we curve bullets, motherfucker.
Well,
You've seen
that's-
more outlandish concepts in other movies.
Oh yeah, like, well, the Matrix is 80% bullets being just zipped around.
It sure is, dude.
At
Well,
one
they
point,
curve themselves as opposed to the bullets.
well,
Well, Neo eventually, I guess, does.
well, Neo straight up is like, "Hey, bullets."
Curves them to a dead stop, yeah.
Yeah, no, and then they just fucking fall, and he's like, "That's right, bitch."
All right, I guess. I won't go through your body.
But no, a curving bullet.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
I wonder if you could shoot a bullet and swing the gun around. I feel like it would just go straight.
I
You're
believe
probably gonna kill somebody.
they tried to do it on Mythbusters. The problem is you can't physically move your arm fast enough to change the trajectory of the bullet being fired out of the gun. It's going too fast.
That's fair.
If you were like the fucking Bruce Lee with the nunchucks, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to remember movies from a long time ago.
I wish that were possible. I wish bullet curving. It would make like murder videos so much more interesting.
Well, yeah, you could fucking kill somebody from around the corner,
Yeah.
and then
How would you know?
that wasn't me.
No, it was just a stray bullet.
Yeah, I didn't even get around the corner that
Yeah.
day.
Gangs exist around
Yeah,
here.
I was a block away.
Yeah.
How could that have been me?
The only time you can curve a bullet is if you're a sniper and you're firing like 300 feet away.
And you get like a little... I think there's
With
like...
the wind.
There's like guns that flip around corners, are they not? I think the military is... I think I just watched a video one time and like... They had a gun that like...
has one and wanted.
It like busted around a corner.
Yeah.
And
it rotates on like a 90-degree axis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a real thing. So
I believe it makes sense. Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know.
It fucking makes life way easier.
Yeah. Why?
Well, it makes murder way easier.
Oh, for sure
it makes the ending of a life easier.
I can't imagine a world where you need to fire a gun around a corner without being around the corner unless you're trying to kill somebody.
Yeah, discreetly.
There's no other reason for that gun to exist.
There isn't.
That gun doesn't exist in Misery, though.
No, it doesn't.
No.
A typewriter does, though, and it's just as effective.
Is it ever? What's your 2 sentences?
I had one, and then the one that I thought of on the drive that I can't remember, but the main one was novels in the streets, hobbles in the sheets.
Shit.
And then always check the weather forecast before you go on a road trip.
Yeah. Maybe don't drive drunk.
He had 1 glass of champagne. Who's getting drunk off of 1 glass of champagne?
This guy.
Heroin addict moms.
And this guy.
Yeah.
The first thing he does is crash his car. So, yeah, don't drink and drive because if you don't die in the car accident, worse things will still happen.
Yeah.
How about that?
Being kidnapped by an obsessed fan is worse than a DUI.
Yeah. If you can't get to a hospital, you should still try to get to a hospital. How about that?
Do everything in your power to get to that fucking hospital.
Yeah, don't just chill.
So, I need you to know that Rob Reiner directed this movie.
Yes, I know that name, but I don't know why I know that name.
He is the oldest man on Earth in Oceans 11 and 12.
I love it.
He's so old.
That's all right with me.
Brad Pitt tries to sneak up on him with like, we got this idea for a casino heist, and he goes, I saw you at the booking counter. I saw you when you got out of bed this morning. Oh, jeez.
Yikes. And he directed this movie.
Yes.
All right. Well,
I really hope I'm getting that right. I'm like 99% sure that's Rob Reiner.
Well, I'm not going to correct you. I have no
Oh,
idea.
well, that's good. We're just going to go with that.
All right. Well, this film.
Yeah. It opens with an advertisement.
It really does.
Just bop. Lucky Strikes. That's the first thing you get to see. Lucky Strike cigarettes and Don Perignon, which is what Snoop Dogg would drink if Patron didn't exist.
Well, it's very hip hop of this old white man to sip from a glass. Also, like it's from 1982. Is that a good year? At this point,
It's a great question. I don't know from Champagne.
Okay.
Any idea what's good and what's not.
I feel like you don't want it to be that old. Ew.
I don't even know like wine vintage good years.
Well, it's just like the older it gets, the better.
Yeah.
So
I apparently like certain years in the past, like the grapes were just awesome that season.
Well, 1982. The fucking grapes were banging.
Yeah. They're so banging that in order to commemorate finishing his most recent book, the main character, Paul, decides on that vintage.
Oh, yeah.
One single cigarette as per his tradition after finishing a novel.
That's his ritual. And you find that out. It's every finished book is one cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Because he used to smoke, but he don't know more. Mm-hmm. So for some reason, an unfiltered cigarette is how he celebrates, which seems like the worst fucking thing in the world.
I believe I've told this story before on the podcast, but my grandfather used to smoke. I think he was, right before he quit, up to over 30 cigarettes a day.
Good Christ.
Which is, in today's world, a pack and a half of cigarettes a day, which I can't. As a smoker, I can't understand. So he was banging his ex-wife one time, and he couldn't keep up. And she goes, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Well, I've had like 35 cigarettes today. Give me a break." And then realized that he couldn't perform in bed, so he better quit. So he quit cold turkey. And then every year at Christmas, they would have like a family get together. He would bum a cigarette off of one of his family members and pull the entire thing in one breath and almost throw up in order to remind himself why he quit.
Is your grandfather telling you stories about fucking his ex-wife? Jay, what's going on in your house?
What's going on in my house is my grandfather is a fucking gangster.
Grandpa, tell me that story.
Tell me that you're fucking...
Tell me about how you were catching your wife from behind and it just wasn't, you just weren't giving it to her as good, so you stopped smoking.
You got winded railing that poor woman.
What a nice story.
Yeah.
What a nice story.
Wholesome.
This is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
This is dinner.
Well, this is what we're giving thanks for. It's turkey, really, really good homemade stuffing, and a story about how I was plowing your grandma.
Not your grandma.
Well, my grandma-in-law, technically, or ex-grandma, whatever you would want to call it.
I don't know, man.
Sandy was her name.
Sandy, if you're listening.
She's dead. Oh, I'm the best storyteller ever.
So,
this is Misery. We got Kathy Bates being the Kathyest of Bates.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Before they considered Kathy Bates, they considered Rosie O'Donnell and Roseanne Barr.
Very different. How many? We're looking to cast this movie, Misery, this Stephen King book we're adapting. Could you just get me a list of the fattest women in Hollywood? Could you just get me every fat woman in Hollywood in a list? And we're gonna Rochambeau for who we pick.
Aww.
Not to mention, they all, like, in 1990 when this movie was made, they looked the fucking same.
Yeah, they all
looked they probably dressed the exact same too.
I feel like you put Rosie O'Donnell and what's her face together, you get Kathy Bates.
Yeah, it's Freaky Friday.
She's like the young version of both of those people.
It's just super fucking hefty dinners and baseball in the house. It's like the Golden Girls if they were lesbians.
Good God.
Off to a great start with this podcast. The first thing I noticed about this movie, all right?
Yeah, what'd you notice?
About the fucking main character, Paul, anyway. When he lights that match, he does it with his thumbnail.
Yeah.
Who the fuck can do that?
So, I noticed that, and then, like, so he fucking smokes the cigarette, and then he goes outside, and then he throws a snowball at a tree, and he's like, haha, still got it.
Still got what, aim?
Yeah, no, you should be like, haha, I can make fire with my one hand.
Yeah, dude, one-handed fire is way more impressive than hitting a tree with a snowball.
Yeah, I'm not impressed by that. I was impressed by him lighting that match. I was like, you just wrote a fucking book. You should have been like, still got it.
Yeah.
Slam the typewriter thing
back.
You
have way better things still than throwing a ball nicely.
But yeah, no, I don't know how you can strike. It's a strike anywhere match, and he like flicks his thumb up, and it's like making wizard fire.
He like cranks it against his nail. I have no idea. I don't need to try to do that because I know I wouldn't be able to.
Well, yeah, even if you can, you're gonna burn your fucking self.
Yeah, totally.
He must just have the crustiest nails.
He's got dirty sandpapery ass nails.
Ugh.
It's all that writing.
Yeah.
How obnoxious. So, to skip ahead a little bit, fucking Paul goes missing when he crashes his car, and it turns out that Kathy Bates saved him by pulling him out of the vehicle. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the sheriff, while investigating this, goes to the hotel he was staying at, Stony Creek Lodge or some riverbed bend house.
Silver Creek.
Silver Creek, okay. And the hotel owner goes, he's the best guest ever. He doesn't make a fucking sound, and he doesn't bother anybody. He's up there with a typewriter, man.
Yeah, he is.
I could hear a typewriter from 3 blocks away. Yeah, that's...
Shing! Shing!
It's...
Shing!
It's the loudest fucking writing device ever.
It is. It's like having 13 mechanical keyboards going at once.
I'm surprised that when he started writing this fucking book in Kathy Bates or Annie's house that they didn't know where he was immediately from the helicopter they were using to find him. What's that? The sound of a typewriter? That's echoing through the fucking mountains?
Right. Like they're in a helicopter, but you should still be able to hear that click-clack.
Oh, totally. You would. So fucking yeah, Paul, he doesn't check the weather before leaving the lodge with his manuscript, which he's superstitious, so he doesn't make any copies of his books. Anything bad could happen to your ink on paper book in between getting like from where you are to where you have to go for other people to have it. So why the fuck make like 18 copies?
Why you should sit there and just put that into a fax machine and hit go?
Oh yeah.
Like it's worth whatever it's gonna cost to fax that to New York. It's gonna be worth it.
You spent how long on this fucking thing and you're just leaving it up to God?
You're not gonna I understand he's superstitious. He's gotta have his like goddamn typewriter. But like get a laptop, man.
Get a laptop, and also like you're writing pulpy dramatic romance novels. It's not Harry Potter.
No.
Anybody can do this. It's not that important to be superstitious about. He's only written 8 books, and like for some reason he's like the most famous author in the world in this movie.
He thinks he's Nora Roberts.
For some reason, yeah.
He thinks he's fucking Nora Roberts.
He's getting the same reverence from people as George R.R. Martin for his 8 books about like some bitch who rides horses.
It's like some medieval lady in the 1800s.
Medieval lady. I'm not sure that. I don't know if the 1800s were. I think that was more so like Salem witch trials era.
Okay, well,
which I suppose is like a form of Middle Age. I don't even know what you would call that.
Anything older than me is like the Middle Ages. So
it's fine.
This movie came out
basically. God created the Earth in 1980.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah,
and then this movie happened, and I was born, and that's fine. So this is such a recent movie for me.
I was super mad because he's got a fucking Mustang from 1965. That's a beautiful car, and you're just gonna roll it down a hill like that.
Hey, man.
So disrespectful. It gets a little snowy, and instead of turning back when the obvious blizzard hits,
and
just stopping.
And he just had that bottle of
hammered off
Don
of this
Perignon.
Yeah, Perignon.
The Donny Perigny. The Prigny Progny.
I'll just open that.
Yeah, you did.
So yeah, he fucking leaves the lodge with his manuscript, gets into a blizzardy accident. And then Kathy Bates just fucking shows up. And she must be practicing for the Highland Games because she lumberjack carries that man up a snowy hill that's like 20 feet.
I like that Kathy Bates can do with a crowbar what, like, firefighters need the jaws of life for. She, like, pries that car door open.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a quick CPR and he's good to go.
He's the fucking strongest widow ever.
Quick couple pumps of air in his lungs and he's fucking popping.
Yeah. Well, it gives him CPR, which I appreciate that she did the 2 breath and then chest method because that's current. Well, that's what's recommended in first aid training these days. 2 breaths and then chest compressions.
Well, lady, you find out she's a nurse, so...
Yeah, as a matter of fact, because of COVID now, they don't even advise the 2 breaths anymore. It's like, just pump the chest until either they die or somebody else gets here.
Wow. That's very medical sounding.
Yeah, right? So, yeah, he gets his fucking life saved. And then he wakes up in this bed with this woman that just has saline on an IV drip on deck.
Yeah, I would be concerned if when I open my eyes, I see that a stranger's put something in my body.
Yeah.
Like a needle.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to a tube of liquid.
My immediate reaction is, pull that the fuck out.
Yeah, that's coming out. Also, it takes like days. She's fucking Paul. It turns out he's been asleep for 2 days in like a weird injury coma, and his legs are all busted up. He's got compound fractures in his legs. This movie hits home for me a little bit because I've also broken a leg. And when I woke up from the morphine, my first thought was, show me that fucking leg. Immediately show me that leg. And for some reason here, Annie waits days to show. I'm not talking to you or doing anything until I see how fucked up my leg is.
Oh my God.
Show me that bloody stump of a leg I have now.
Were you expecting it to just be gone?
Not gone, but certainly mangled.
Oh my God. Yeah. So he wakes up and she like shows him this whatever legs he's got left, and she's like, it's not that bad.
Look at your feet.
Yeah.
Your feet are the size of my cat.
She's like, it's not as bad as it looks. It's just your legs are fucking mangled. You've had 2 compound fractures, which are where bones come through the skin.
So actually, it's worse than it looks. Because I can't see bones anymore.
Yeah, but she's like, when I moved you, I could hear the bones moving.
I know exactly how that feels.
It's not as bad as it looks, but it fucking sounds like shit. It sounds horrible, buddy.
It sounds like you're fucking Looney Tunes skeleton every time I roll you over for bed sores.
Oh, shit. But yeah, he comes out of his coma, and you can hear Kathy Bates being like, hey, I'm your number one fan, don't worry.
Yeah.
And, normally I'd be like, oh, fucking shit.
Yeah.
God damn it, here we go. But then I remember The Dirt, Nikki Sixx, when he OD'd, they put him in the back of the ambulance, and the guy was like, oh, shit, that's Nikki Sixx.
Yeah.
Give this guy some needles, and they bring him back to life with, 3 Pulp Fiction needles.
Theoretically, you can trust your number one fan to try and save your life.
You can.
It's not the life-saving part that you don't want in their hands. It's the aftercare. The rest of it is what you might not want.
Before they start doing this work on me, though, I do want to see, you're a nurse, let me see.
You got credentials?
Yeah, hold on. No, it's not that bad. Don't touch me.
Because I see these splints that you've jerry-rigged together, and if the rest of my recovery is going to be of this quality, I might just risk it in the car.
Yeah, but, what was it? It's like sticks and tensor bandage wrapped around his knees.
And half a crutch. It was so your heart was in the right place.
Yeah, thanks, golly gee, but... How about we...
Let's go to some professionals that don't live alone.
Yeah, do you have any bigger sticks?
You haven't gone to work since I got here. How much of a nurse are you really?
Yeah.
It turns out she's a fucking real good nurse if part of nursing is to kill babies for fun.
And you never know, that might be a big part of nursing.
It may be.
You just don't read about it in the papers these days.
So we get that, and then we get introduced to Buster, the small town sheriff, who is... He says every small town sheriff trope in 2 sentences.
Oh, I'd be pissed if I called the cops and I got this guy.
Yeah, I want my fucking great grandfather's ghost to investigate my employee's missingness. So his literary agent, and this is okay, we haven't heard from him in fucking days. And she still feels weird about calling the local police about it. Nah, I mean, feel good about doing that because he's fucking missing, obviously.
Clearly.
Paul's literary agent's name is Marcia, and she looks like a transvestite. She reminded me, actually, of one of the teachers that we had at Fanshawe. You know, the one. The one that was in between transitions, and she's 50. Reminded me also of Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction, which is ironic.
I've not seen it.
Okay, well, Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction, there's a Family Guy episode where they make fun of it.
Is it where
I Won't Be Ignored by You? Oh. She cooks the rabbit in the pot.
Okay.
And they bang in the elevator, and they're I wonder what music they're going to put behind this, and it's fucking
the
Beetlejuice theme song or some shit.
It's Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Is that where she crosses her legs and in an interview and they're
different movie that's also about obsession.
Oh, okay, all right.
I can't remember the name of that.
Because that's the one where Peter crosses his legs and is if you keep doing that, you're gonna pop it.
So that might happen in Fatal Attraction as well, but I think of a different iconic scene with a blonde in an interview.
Yeah, no, that's the one I'm thinking of too.
Yeah.
All right. These classic, I don't know, 80s movies now?
Yeah. Well, I think Fatal Attraction was 86. Something like that. So Buster the Sheriff's desk is decorated like a 40-year-old spinster's cubicle. He's got, in the background, he's got a sign that says The Boss. And then he's got another sign that says, an uncluttered, clean desk is the sign of a sick mind.
I did see that.
Tee-hee-hee, I'm so bad type joke.
He probably went next door to the general store and bought that.
It was right beside, he's fucking one false move away from having a Dilbert comic.
Dude, there was definitely a comic pinned to that corkboard in the back. So
this fucking corkboard is just office cubicle tchotchkes and scattered papers that he somehow has a system for.
So do you think he did that, or do you think it's his wife that did that?
His wife trying to make it more make this house a home?
Yeah. She's if I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be chuckling when I turn around. The boss. We all know who the real boss is.
Me.
Oh, honey, move that Dilbert comic up a little higher. I can't see it.
I want to be able to see it from my assistant's desk.
I want to see Dilbert just getting reamed at work by his boss.
Really good example of why you shouldn't work with family members.
Yeah.
Because their dynamic is fucking toxically sarcastic.
Yeah, it is.
They hate each other, and they hate each other because Buster's wife ain't getting dick down the way that she likes.
She makes that abundantly clear.
This is the
every
horniest
scene.
old lady ever.
Yeah, and the sheriff just right over his head. He's all about the business.
He is.
He doesn't give a shit about his wife's vagina. He makes that very abundantly clear by saying absolutely nothing whenever she's like, well, I'm empty down here. What's going on?
What's that? You're probably having an affair because I'm sure not getting fucked.
Yeah, there's no dick in me. That's weird.
Who are you putting it in instead? They're out there investigating the fucking Paul's disappearance, and she just fucking goes straight for the leg.
Yeah,
in
she
the
does.
Car. And it's like, oh yeah, dude. Trying to find a missing person who's presumed dead sure gets me wet as fuck.
Oh, and he's like, you know what? Look, I'm going to need you to act like... You're not in this car. You're not my wife. You're my sheriff's deputy.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'd rather be rolling around in the sheets with you.
This woman's got a one-track mind, and that track is littered with penis.
Just fuck your wife.
Just
so she'll be a better employee.
Give her a damn treat once in a while.
Yeah, let her just fuck her. Fuck your wife.
Please. For the betterment of every investigation.
She'll be more on track, more focused. I feel like this is turning into a weird podcast.
JustFuckYourWife.com.
Just fuck your wife. Just like she clearly is asking you to fuck her.
Dude, like on the daily.
Fuck your goddamn wife and then find this man.
Kick off early on a Friday.
Yeah.
They make a point of saying that they got a phone call. That means it's a busy day. Like, obviously, you're not doing anything else. Just take her into the jail cell.
Well, the one phone call that he did get, I don't know if you overheard it. At one point, he picks up the phone and he's like, yeah, hello? Okay, well, it's a public bench. Yeah, I don't care. I don't like them either, but you can't tell them to not sit on your bench.
Yeah, if you're going to have benches out front, you got to expect people to sit on those shits.
So that's his kind of day.
The caliber of investigating.
Yeah, he has plenty of time to fuck his wife.
Tons. He could be doing it right now. So yeah, this is a literary agent calling in, and he fucking not really taking the missing persons report very seriously because it's an adult, but he's like, I'll keep an eye out.
Oh my god. He says, I'm gonna put his name in our system. Yeah. Which is a very assuring thing. You're like, all right, things are getting done.
His system is like a fucking Rolodex that he did in crayon.
It's a goddamn corkboard full of other things pinned to it. And
Post-it notes with people's names who are probably dead all over it.
And all it is he just writes Paul Sheldon and he sticks it to the board. If she had seen that, she would have lost all hope.
Yeah. Oh, wow, he's gone.
I'm typing the obituary up. Nobody's getting shit done here. God damn it.
And he's using an elastic like a fidget spinner is the other thing I noticed. He's just flicking this elastic like he's playing the goddamn washboard.
Yeah, he is.
Which I identify with because when I'm trying to think, sometimes having shit in my hand to dick around with is helpful.
I like the twang of a nice tight elastic band.
Sure. We cut back to fucking Paul and Annie. And Annie is already like, shaving him. And he's got one working arm still. So, I mean, since when is it a nurse's job to shave the patient's face when they can do it themselves?
Yeah, you'd
just
be
hand
surprised.
Him a mirror.
This is where she straight up was like, yeah, I was following you and looking in your window at night.
Maybe take the razor off of my throat when you're going to confess to being my stalker.
Yeah, it's only been, what, a week?
If that.
A couple days anyway?
Yeah.
You could have saved that information.
It really explains how she was like on the scene with a crowbar. First of all, you're carrying a crowbar in your car. That's not great.
Not really, no. You must live in a bad part of town.
She lives in a farm in the woods.
I had a manager who I saw him open his vehicle one day, and there was a baseball bat sitting right next to where the driver's side door, and I was like, oh, you know, play a lot of baseball? And he's like, no.
Cool, well, I gotta go.
Nice. It's cool you have that ready to go when you do need to play baseball, though.
Holy shit. You going to the batting cages later? I'm sure not.
Never actually. Why?
It's funny you ask. No. Yeah, just so you know, like, I know that you stay at this lodge when you write these books that I'm obsessed with. And so, you know, every so often, I just swing by and look in your window.
And I'm just like, ha, wish I was in there with you. And he's like, say that again? And she's like, no, I won't.
Oh, nothing. Let me just continue to shave your face nicely.
And by now, the roads are opened up.
This is, okay, so earlier in the movie, when because obviously you'd have tons of questions when you wake up in a stranger's house in a bed with an IV.
Yeah.
She says, horrible storm. Obviously, you didn't check the weather, you idiot.
Yeah, drinking and driving, you fuckface.
The roads are closed and the phones are down. Right after that, Marcia places the fucking call to the sheriff. So the phones aren't down. Right away, she's lying. And you know that she is.
Well, you can at least assume she is. After like a day or two, the phones still aren't up.
Yeah.
If that was 2022, there'd be riots in the streets.
There sure would. The economy would collapse.
The phone company would be just doling out apologies and
my hard bad. It's been 24 hours without you being able to call your grandmother to check in.
And that's the 1 hour. That's the 24 hours where she dies. That's the 24 hours where she...
Just like God to do you dirty like that.
Yeah. Oh, fuck you, God.
So, like, yeah, even if the phones were down, which they probably weren't, we established right away as viewers, as audience members, that she's just keeping them. Yeah. She's just gonna keep them. That's her plan from minute one.
Well, yeah, the roads are open. Go for help.
Yeah.
You could drive to the hospital and they would... That's the same as calling the hospital.
It is.
You could show up and be like,
better.
I need help.
Yeah.
Please bring an ambulance. I will pay the $50 fucking it costs to do that.
Now, this is in the US, so add about 3 more zeros to that number.
Why didn't she just put him in the car?
Why didn't she put him in the car and drive to the hospital immediately?
Yeah, you've already fucked his legs up and duct taped some sticks to them like a doc. And when she's like, yeah, look at what I did with what I had around the house. No doctor could have done better.
I beg to differ. I beg pretty hard to differ.
We'll see about that. There's no doctors here, so I can't.
It calls into question the quality of the hospital I'd be taken to, though, if that's the case.
Oh, for sure, sure.
Is the hospital just a shack in your backyard?
It's starting to seem like it.
So, yeah, and this is where we fucking learn that he's written 8 books, which is not enough to be critically acclaimed as an author. I don't care.
Not at this point.
Unless they're the Bible 8 times.
And at that point, why would you keep writing the Bible after you've already written it once? Come on now.
Yeah, as she's taking care of him, and she realizes that there's a book, an unread up to this point, an unpublished book.
Which is really funny because, like... He doesn't make copies of his books, so that's the only copy, and he's worked so hard on it. Mm-hmm. My first thing when I woke up, like, hey, did you happen to pick up my book?
By my life's work?
The only other thing in the vehicle was it still, can we go get that?
Yeah. It's important to me that this thing I just slaved over for months in a hotel stays intact.
Exactly. This thing that, from what I understand, it's not a misery book.
No, it's
a new book, something completely different, because he's got a new book coming out called Misery's Child.
Yeah,
which drops while he's got his legs all busted up in his bed, because she goes and gets that book.
Right, and so that part kind of went over my head, and I got angry about something else later on in the movie. Mm-hmm. But all right, that's just fine.
Because I think she reads that book and she's like, it's about street kids, and she hates the swearing.
Yeah.
And then she gets the new book, Misery's Child, where she dies in childbirth.
So that makes way more sense to me, because she reads the fucking manuscript for this new book. She hates it, and she makes him burn it.
Yeah.
Right? And then she's like, you're going to start over, fix misery. So I was under the impression, based on the way that whole thing happened, that was the Misery's Child book. Like, that was the last Misery book in the series. Mm-hmm. And I got very confused, because it's like, okay, well, why are you even adding in the part where she dies if we burnt that?
Yeah.
So it makes way more sense now that you've explained it to me.
I was also really confused about that. And then I realized, like, she died during childbirth.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm really happy that you exist. Yes. I was driving over here and I was like, I fucking hope to Christ that he has an explanation that I missed.
That's the only thing I can think of. Because that book didn't have a title. And he's like, oh, you name it. and it would be called like Misery's fucking dead, or it would be Misery, so he would know
Misery's
what the title
fucking
is.
dead, bitch.
But yeah, so that's
She asked to read this manuscript that he's got, and he slow rolls her about it, which is so disrespectful to do. Like, he goes, well, I keep it pretty lock and key until my editor and my agent can see it. So I don't know. I guess I can make an exception this time since you saved my fucking life. If I saved somebody's life and they just had a book that they were working on and I had to pull teeth to read it, I would just put them back in the car I pulled them out of.
I just read it anyway.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Cripple.
I'd walk back in. Hey, guess what?
I read that shit, bitch.
Yeah. You know what? I read it before I even fucking asked about it.
That shit's red. Do something. And then she goes, sorry to make you feel all oogie, which is what Jillian calls Brian in Family Guy.
Yeah, it is.
First thought I had.
Yeah, it is.
And then just feeding them gross ass soup. Like, here's my thing, right? And it's right back to the free hand. Don't feed me.
Yeah.
Don't shave me. I have a hand that works. Let me just eat the soup.
Oh, for real? Because like, hey, I am gonna go at my own pace. She's like, oh, you got that in your mouth? Here
Shoveling
comes the
that
next
shit
one.
in you, yeah.
Here comes the next one. And then,
what is this orange ass soup? Also, yam. That's gross.
It's like it's either yam or it's cheese, cream of tomato.
What?
Which is just ketchup.
Yeah, it's ketchup. It's thinner ketchup.
But yeah, as she's forcing this fucking soup on him, she's like, yeah, you know what? This new book you gave me, what the fuck is with all the swearing?
I'm not a huge fan of that swearing.
Hey, there's it's a fine book.
Mm-hmm.
You're great. A lot of cussing in this book.
Yeah.
lot of drops of the swears. And,
right before this happens, Buster's out investigating this
Right.
fucking missing person, and he goes all the way to the hotel just to be shown the check-in and out dates. That could be done over the phone.
Yeah. It just,
Y'all drove all the way out there for that?
Well, he's probably just trying to get away from his horny wife.
Who he brought, because that's when you get to see how horny she fucking is
Oh,
when they're driving
right.
back.
Damn. Well, yeah. What the fuck? What's going on here?
He left her in the car so that she wouldn't be like, well, let's rent a room.
Probably.
Since we're out here.
It's like, I'm not going to this motel. I'm going to the store next door.
Mm-hmm. Just keep your eyes away from the free rooms, the vacancy sign at that motel. Hilariously, though, during the scene where she's complaining about the swearing, she just fucking goes off.
Oh, my favorite part of the movie.
Here's one big bastard of a check. Give me your Christing money.
I say Christing because of this movie.
Really? That's why?
I love it so much.
Beautiful, dude.
Yeah, she has no idea how to swear.
No,
and
she's real bad at
and
it.
she goes off and she ends up sounding even stupider. Yeah, she's like, yeah, what do you think? I go down to the feed store and I'm like, give me that bitchly cow feed.
First of all, feed store. Are you buying food for yourself?
Well, it is cow feed.
Her fucking pig impression would indicate to me that she likes animals a lot.
Well, yeah.
At least pigs.
Where do you think she's getting her big bastards of a check from?
So while she's freaking out, she spills soup, and then she goes, look what you made me do. So this is yet another movie we've watched where a victim gets gaslit into believing everything's their fault.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
18 minutes in, gaslighting.
Yeah, and then she's like, I love you, and then she just leaves with the soup. Excuse me.
First of all, what else can you do?
Put the soup down.
He didn't say I love you too. He deserves punishment.
All right. Well, yeah, you get to taste 3 spoonfuls of that yam nasty soup.
Soft, no crackers, just straight milky soup. It's not even hearty.
Look,
where's the chunky?
I don't even like soup.
I fucking love soup.
I don't like soup for like all the reasons you just described. It's just
okay. Let's compromise at stew.
like stew's okay.
Yeah.
Stew's fine. Chili's all right, but
Yep.
like soup, oh great. Give me the flavor paste.
Yeah, I'll just
Wicked.
drink this.
Tastes like tomatoes.
So Annie comes to her senses after spilling that soup and then goes, can you ever forgive me? Like he's in a position to say no. As a matter of
Right.
fact, no, I don't forgive you. Oh, okay, well, you're fucked.
Yep.
You're dead now.
Yep. Hope you like your legs. I'm about to fucking jiggle them.
She She loves to jiggle those fucking legs, dude. All she does is jiggle.
God.
She's undermining her own efforts all the time. We cut to Buster and his wife driving back from the lodge.
You know what's really funny about Buster and his wife? So when they made this movie, they wanted to make the sheriff seem more proactive than he was in the book.
Okay.
But like in the book, did he just not give a shit?
Well, the post-it would indicate that he didn't care that much.
Because like all the sheriff does is like drive up and down that road one time, and then he goes and reads a bunch of books.
Yeah, he sure does.
That's all it is. He's like, oh look, there's a broken branch there. Huh.
First of all, yeah, for some reason, not getting laid is the fucking best thing ever because it turns him into Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, he's got the focus of an eagle with a hard dick.
They're driving through a foresty mountain trail, and he notices one cracked branch, and like it's like a fucking sapling, and goes, "Stop." This has something to do with it, doesn't it?
Oh, like
bears don't exist.
Like Sherlock Holmes with autism, just right here.
So Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, yeah, fine. But they don't find the car in that scene.
Buster gets waist deep in snow and goes, "Well, I'm uncomfortable. Fuck this guy."
His wife's like, "Hey, need some help?" And he's like, "Nah, I love it down here."
I'm swimming in the winter cold.
Oh my god!
If he had walked 5 more feet, he would have seen that tire. But he got like his dick got a little chilly, and he's like, "Fuck this whole investigation."
Buster, fucking small town cops,
right?
Like I said, if I would have called and I would have got this like unprofessional, like, oh, I'm what do you want, the sheriff or the chief of police? I'm both of them.
Yeah, I'm both of them, and also like I'm really good at fishing.
Yeah, fishing.
If you need a good fishing spot, just come and ask me.
I'd fucking hang up and I'd call a different police.
Really unprofessional when getting a phone call from a stranger and you're on the job to say, "Call me by my first name," because everyone does. Oh, so we're friends.
Oh, so Lieutenant Buster. Nah.
No, just Buster.
Just Buster.
Barely a lieutenant.
And that's the first name, too. Yuck.
Buster, like my first name is something you call a person when you're not happy with them.
So this movie takes place in Denver.
Okay. That makes sense.
This would be like one of the only Stephen King movies or books that doesn't take place in Maine.
Right, where he fucking lives.
So this author goes from New York to Colorado, which is across the country by car because he's humble, doesn't like to fly.
Because he's humble.
And in this movie, they describe that as, oh, he's just coming up from New York.
Yeah, just.
Is Denver, Colorado not the fucking across the country?
I think it's in the middle.
Okay.
I think you get New York and then maybe like 1 or 2 states and then Colorado. Now, I could be fucking bone dead wrong on that.
I have no idea.
Because geography sucks.
I was under the impression it was like snug next to California, but also it's snow. So I have
the
no
difference in weather.
Idea.
Yeah, it's got to be. So I think like Maine, New York, Jersey, like Philadelphia is further east, but like Colorado is like just west of those shits.
Okay.
We're not quite at like Kansas, somewhere in between.
If you're listening, email us.
Feel free to correct me on my state location knowledge.
grindhousemovieclub@gmail.com. Nobody emails us because we forget about the email. So
I'm trying to get really good at GeoGuessr, so I need to know these things.
Okay.
I just watched a video of this guy. His name's Rainbolt. I think I sent it to you on Twitter.
Yes, you did.
But this guy plays GeoGuessr so much that he can look at a picture in 0.1 seconds and know where he is.
And I would love to have that ability. When I play GeoGuessr, I just call numbers that I see, and I just ask people where they are.
Hey, where the fuck do you live?
Yeah, exactly. I called the dude and I was like, hey, it was like a house for sale. I'm like, where's that house for sale at?
Yeah.
And he's like, that was 2 years ago. But it was in this area. And I was like, all right, cool. And I found it.
You can work your way up to that. Like, oh, I'm just wondering where like your stomping grounds are as a realtor because I've heard good things about you.
I mean, 80% of the time I'm just like, I'm playing this game and I'm calling you to figure out where I am.
It's just straight up honesty. Yeah.
And just people hang up. Nah,
of course. That sounds like a prank fucking call.
It does. I need you. I got an IMDb fact for you.
Sure.
About this movie.
I got a non-IMDb fact for you.
All right, you lay that fact on me.
Buster should move out of Colorado because he would clearly suck in an avalanche.
Yeah, you know what? He would.
Oh, snow up to my waist. That snowboarder's dead.
We are unable to unrecover his body, but you see like his foot sticking out of the snow behind
it. It's too deep over there, though.
That's the deep end. And I just don't have my snow wings on.
Yeah, I forgot my life jacket.
So the IMDb page, the facts are a lot of facts about the actors in the movie.
Sure. So I see you have one highlighted here.
Can you? I just want you to read that one for me because it's my favorite one that has not a thing to do about this fucking film.
Okay. Well, first of all, we learn here that Kathy Bates has won an Oscar for this performance, which I think is deserved.
Oh, absolutely.
If this woman were to have saved me from a car, I'd be crawling right back into the car and dying, alternatively, than being in the same room as her.
Oh, yeah, she's horrifying.
The day after Kathy Bates won the Oscar for her role in Misery, brackets 1990, she filmed a scene with Alec Baldwin where fans asked for their autographs. Kathy Bates later walked her dog and forgot to bring a cleanup bag and wound up using a fan's discarded autograph she found on the ground instead. So, motherfuckers, she's just... Is that bad because the person whose autograph for the film would they just threw on the ground after? I don't like Kathy Bates enough to keep this.
Yeah.
And then she found it and then baller move to just give a middle finger to the person who threw your autograph away. I'm going to clean up my dog's fucking shit with this. I know who I am.
Oh my God, Kathy.
Damn.
Kathy, you fucking G.
Yeah. OG Kathy Bates, dude.
I just imagine it be like, aww.
Well, that sucks.
But yeah, fuck that person. Scoop that dog shit up. There's your fucking autograph right there, bitch.
Should have tracked down the extra and just handed it back.
Yeah.
You dropped this.
She absolutely should have. As intensely as she does anything in this movie.
We get a scene now with Paul and Annie again, where she made him eggs, right? Mm-hmm. And in order to try and be nice after her fucking insane outburst.
Yeah.
The first time you get to see how psychologically unhinged this woman is. And I don't think eggs are enough to make up for the fact that you spilled soup on my bed because of swears.
Yeah, but it's not just eggs.
It's eggs, and what the fuck else is on that shit?
Those aren't hash browns. That's sliced Spam. That's been fried.
This fucking woman loves her Spam, dude.
Well, she lives in the middle of nowhere.
They're having dinner later, and let me talk about, first of all, Paul, despite the fact that this is his captor, extremely cooperative throughout this movie. Mm-hmm. Later on, it becomes because he's trying to distract her with happiness while he's trying to fucking murder her somehow.
So there's another thing they didn't include in this movie, which was going to make a lot of sense.
Okay.
So Paul has a substance addiction.
Oh.
And he's clean. And then in this book, her feeding him all those pills relapses him.
Okay.
So I feel like a lot of it is he's just hanging around for the pills. He's more okay with it because he's getting these pills.
I get it.
So he relapses at some point.
I sort of understand not wanting to leave the place where the pills are now.
Yeah.
So much.
And when you see him just grab that big wad of pills and stuff him in his crotch later. It's okay. Well.
Is this to kill Annie, or you just want these?
A little bit.
Just want to have them.
One for Annie, one for me.
One for Annie, 3 for me.
You know what? Let's go get another packet.
If it's a party,
the math's not adding up here.
During this scene with the eggs and the sliced fucking Spam that's disgusting.
This fucking Denny's hearty breakfast for one trucker, $3 15-minute meal that you get.
We get introduced to the best character in the film, and that's the pig.
Oh my God,
Misery the pig,
who's played by a pig named Misery.
That's
Misery the pig as herself.
Awesome acting credit.
Because it probably named it the pig, and then the pig was probably just murdered afterwards. It didn't matter what his name was. It was gonna be food for the cast after.
Today for this scene, the pig's name is Misery. Next week, it's gonna be named Roast. So I love the pig. I don't know how I would feel about waking up to just a pig staring at me. But that's The pig's name is Misery. You're my inspiration. Here's some fucking eggs. I guess that just, well, I mean, what choice do you have but to be amicable to the person who's drugging you?
Yeah, eat their garbage-looking eggs.
Eat the fucking
and
garbage
their
eggs.
fried, whatever the fuck spam is.
Yeah.
Just meat?
And I'm not sure why at this point, but during this scene, Annie goes, says my favorite line, personally, in the movie.
Okay.
What's the ceiling that Dago painted?
Yeah, she does compare his books. She calls his books perfect.
Beautiful and brilliant and
then
perfect.
she's like, that ceiling. What's that ceiling that
Dago painted?
And that
Dago has a name. And it's Michelangelo, for fuck's sake.
And Dago is
well, that's a pejorative term for Spanish and Italian individuals.
Oh no.
Because they're so commonly called Diego, Matt.
No.
That's why it is.
They took a letter out of the
and made it bad.
Oh god.
Might as well. What's that dirty wetback painting church fucker's name?
Jesus.
Like, damn.
Well, people who were raised on a farm or
I guess they're a little bit more.
They grew up differently.
Oh my god. Up until recently, we had a gentleman named, I'm not going to say his name.
That's probably good.
Working at my plumbing company, who is from a small town in Ontario, close to one that I used to live in, called Ridgetown. That's the one I used to live in, not the one that he used to live in. Anyway, at one point, and again, stop me if I've told you this or said it on the podcast before.
Absolutely.
We were working together, and I made a comment about how I don't burn in the sun because I have more melanin in my skin than most people due to the fact that I'm black. And he said, and it was not a joke. He was dead serious, and this is verbatim.
Oh no.
How do you know if you're black or not? Now explain to me. At that point, I believe I had a small seizure because none of the words in that combination made a fucking lick of sense. I responded with, well, generally my skin color is a good indicator. Now, that didn't stop me from being confused and everybody else from being confused who heard that sentence come out of a man's mouth in the middle of the day.
Oh my god.
And I still have no idea where that thought came from or why he vocalized it.
I'm at a loss for words myself. I wasn't even there.
He goes, I grew up in a very closed off family or something to that effect. Okay, does that mean that you've never seen one before?
It's more like they probably weren't allowed around.
He also told me that I was the first black person he ever worked with, so I believe that to be true.
Yikes.
Anyway, he was also a farm kid, is my point.
He's probably a Mennonite. He's probably a Mennonite who did that thing where they leave and was like, this is way better.
I can't remember the name of the fucking thing.
It's the thing where they discover they can do cocaine and they're just like, oh, cocaine all the time?
Oh, I don't have to plow fields for literally all of my waking life? This is way better.
You mean I can drink soda and say fuck? Oh, shit.
I'm sold. Fuck my family.
So this is where we're treated to, I think, my favorite scene in... Well, it's not my favorite scene, but it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Okay.
So after Kathy Bates chases that fucking pig out of the room while she snorts.
And does a pig impression that was better than the pig's own impression of itself.
Yeah. It cuts back to Kathy. It's like the next day or something.
Yeah.
And she's having this deep discussion about how her husband left her. Mm-hmm. And how Paul's books helped her get through that just like this rough time.
Yeah, right. What's she got in her hand during this conversation?
It's not yet, but you do discover while she's like opening up.
It's talking about how like the institution of marriage, it's built on a foundation of respect.
Yeah. You come to find out that Paul is pissing into a jug.
That whole time.
And he's just been trying to piss while she's talking to him.
While she's talking about how her life got destroyed and she almost fucking killed herself because her husband left her.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, I'm done.
I'm done pissing.
And then she takes that piss, and then she's like, you know what? I'm against marriage, but it would take a special somebody to get me down that aisle again.
Hint, hint.
And as she's talking, she's an aggressive hand talker, so you hear that piss just sloshing in the jug.
She fucking turns into Michael J. Fox with that piss jug over top of this man's poor legs.
Yeah, and you see him go oh shit, I hope that lid's on there.
That's all he's thinking, dude. He's probably barely listening to her at all.
Well, how could you hear it over the piss sloshing around?
It's the fucking loudest piss in the entire region.
Like, it's louder than it was when he was putting it into the jug.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't hear it, and then all of a sudden, it's like being at the wave pool at Wally's World.
Oh my god. More accurate than you care to think.
Yeah.
Because half of that was piss. Half of that wave pool is fucking piss. We all knew it.
Yep. So after she drops this big fucking marriage hint, Kathy Bates absconds with the piss.
Yeah. Disappears with the piss.
Where is she going with that piss?
That's never explained.
Excuse me, I'm going to need you to dump that out the window. I'm going to need to see it.
Out the I need to make sure that this piss is disposed of and not ingested by you, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want you to think you're gaining my powers by drinking my piss. It's the last thing I need.
Do you want to marry me or just become me?
In the middle of the night, Kathy wakes him up because she's found the part in the book where Misery dies.
She fucking dies during childbirth.
Because at this point she had already picked up Misery's Child, the newest book, because she's like, yeah, I went to town and all the roads are open and the phones are fine, but I got your book. I got your fucking book. I called you or whatever. I called that bitch you wanted me to call. But I got your book.
That the important thing to take away from this is that I got your book, man.
Yeah, she does not seem very keen on the help.
Yeah.
More so that she's got this fucking book.
Yeah. Not really even his welfare.
Yeah.
To some degree, anyway.
Not at all, really.
I can handle this, dude. Don't worry.
Like, this guy's legs are not... They're not going to work.
I want to call her Misery in my head all the time. Annie's favorite thing to do is... just wake Paul up out of a dead sleep by staring into his soul through his eyes.
Oh, that would wake me up.
She does it like 3 fucking times in this movie. She sets it up so that when he wakes up in the middle of the night, the first thing that he sees is her horrifyingly obsessed face staring down at him.
Yeah, it's almost like he's like... You ever just like wake up and I better open my eyes to make sure nobody's staring at me. Kathy Bates! Oh!
This isn't the surprise I wanted, Kathy.
Whoa! Yeah, and especially not when she finds out that her favorite thing in the world is now dead.
Favorite thing also to do is call people dirty birds when she's upset.
Oh my god,
and
dirty
cockadooties.
Cockadooties, that's the other one. The cockadoodie car.
Cockadoodie Busey. Family Guy again.
So she fucking throws a tantrum and just like pounds on Paul's legs Donkey Kong style.
She does that, and then she also picks up the foot of the bed and slams it down like a wrestling move.
Oh, she does. I think she even grabs there's like a nice side table and she like goes to smack him with it and then like slams it on the wall and it
right over his head.
It fucking just pieces. It just shatters.
It's fucking IKEA. You can't trust the Swedes, man.
Fair enough.
Also, that poor plant just gets left on the floor. And there were a shitload of roots in that fucking plant, too. It was a healthy-ass plant. So disrespectful.
That plant got the chocolatey end of the popsicle stick.
And, like, how about this, all right? After that whole tantrum, and she comes back, and she produces a grill, and she's got the book in the grill. A barbecue grill. Anyway... at no point does Paul go during that night when she's freaking out and he's trying to explain, women died in childbirth all the time back then. How about this? Misery is a fictional character that I made up, you fucking psycho. It's not a real person, Annie. I understand that you're upset, but it's words on paper.
I think that might have made things a little worse.
I don't give a shit. Say that out loud.
Well, you know what? Fuck it. I would say that because...
solid reality check.
After she Donkey Kongs his legs, she's like, oh, hey, by the way, I didn't call anybody.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking nobody's coming for you.
Great.
Yeah, at that point, I'd be like,
Annie, I fucking killed Misery.
Yeah, I killed her and I enjoyed doing it.
She's dead in the ground, and also I'm going to kill her kid next edition.
You know what? I wrote a book where somebody shits on her corpse. The P.S. Also, fuck Fuck Misery.
Yeah, I fucking hated her when I made her, and I hate her now.
I piss on her grave.
Yeah.
And a grave robber dug up her body and
has his way with her head.
That's exactly what I was gonna say too. That's exactly what I was gonna say. And that's in a pamphlet that's gonna fall out of the book. Fuck you, bitch.
Chapter 3: Misery gets hit by a train.
But yeah, no. So yeah, at that point, I'd just be like, I wouldn't be being nice anymore.
Yeah, no. So we get it's morning time now, and we're gonna be barbecuing inside this morning.
Because she prayed to God, and God was like, "Well, you got to show him the way."
Yeah,
and the way,
yeah,
is burning that.
It's got nothing to do with Knuckles at all.
Yeah, no, it's definitely burning that thing that he's been working his ass off.
Yeah,
on.
and like, so I couldn't tell really whether Paul was like just trying to be nice or whether he really didn't give a shit right like at the very beginning. Obviously, once he does torch it, he cares, but he doesn't really try that hard to lie his way into keeping the manuscript either.
Yeah,
she's like pouring lighter fluid on it, and she's pouring lighter fluid on his bed, on his legs.
Yeah, that's her way of convincing him. She's like hand gestures, and as she's hand gesturing, just like lighter fluid is going
all
everywhere.
Over. So when faced with the task of burning this thing that I spent a great deal of time, money, and effort on in order to make this person happy, instead of saying, oh, well, I have tons of copies of this, and everybody's reading it in New York right now, which is a blatant lie, and she goes, well, I know this is the only copy, because I know everything about you. But even then, he had already said that he doesn't let anybody read it until his editor and agent have read it physically in person. So,
oops,
maybe come up with a better lie than that.
Yeah, maybe.
But then also, guess what? I'm setting my fucking own legs on fire then.
Why not?
Nobody wins. We all lose now. I'm stuck in this fucking house with you. I'm burning us all now.
Yeah, kick that blanket off and hope it catches one of those ornate rugs on fire.
Yeah, or the 80 doilies that she just has around.
Yes, she has doilies for every occasion, every fucking size.
Yeah. She's got more doilies than my great-grandmother.
Does she ever?
Yeah, so fucking he burns the book. He burns that shit. So the barbecue that she brings the manuscript in with, it's got a lid on it. And so when he sets fire to that book against his will, she forgets the lid exists and just lets the paper flit about the room with all of this fucking, like, the most flammable curtains ever invented.
She's got those curtains that don't stop shit from coming in because they're made of doily.
Yeah, the light goes right through the holes in the curtains.
And those catch fire immediately because they are fucking string.
Yeah, it's goddamn kindling in your house.
And and her reaction, because...
oh, goodness!
Oh, me, oh, my.
Cheesy Pete's! We might die in this room.
You know, this is how Weird Al's parents died. Oh, thanks.
They forgot to take a log off.
Oh, my God.
Just put the lid on is all I'm saying.
Well,
put the fucking lid on.
I think she wanted the whole book to burn. You know, you don't want to smother that flame too much. Some of that book might still be literary.
Legible?
That too.
Because, I mean, it's a book, so it is literary. And then, like, he's obviously upset about that shit, and she calls him a crybaby, despite the fact that she had just had a mental breakdown about some swear words.
Yeah, and she spilt soup over swear words.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's just some fucking paper with all your hard work on it.
Also, like... during that scene, he's trying to explain why he used swear words. He's like, because I'm literally writing about my childhood here. Mm-hmm. These are my own childhood experiences. And she goes, yeah, I don't swear like that. Nobody swears like that.
Not a person swears like that.
I've been to 2 houses in my life.
I swear.
Yeah, dude.
I say all those things.
I would right now. I would swear like that.
I can't even. I've probably sworn more times in this podcast than she's heard swear words in her life.
100%. So fucking. Despite, Paul lies like shit. Super Christian, by the way, to have a book burning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fits right in with that cross dangling off her neck.
We're at least on brand.
You get a helicopter flying over the house with the sheriff in it, and it like flies over the window, and then Kathy just looks at him and is like, huh.
So
Sucks, huh?
Yeah, bummer. At this point, he's collaborating. Buster, the sheriff, has decided to call in the real police who can do anything.
Yeah, it's about time.
And so he's collaborating with the FBI and the state police. They do like 2 flyovers and go, he's dead.
Yeah, found a vehicle. Well, he's not in it, so...
do we think, we should canvass the whole area around this lodge and ask every person whether or not they saw a car overturned before the Great Blizzard?
No.
Nobody knocks on any fucking doors until the very end of this movie.
That's what I'm saying. The sheriff does very fucking little.
Incompetent. He gets tied up in his Maeve Binchy at home and forgets that a man is missing.
And like, in the book, he was less proactive. So what did he do? He must have fallen asleep immediately after taking that phone call.
Yeah. He did like one interview for the local paper and then just, it's nap time.
Looked at his front door. I don't see no authors. Well... they go all of like 10 feet off the road, look around, nothing here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're closing the case. It's a cold case because look at all the snow.
I got more pressing matters like my wife's dry ass puss that she complains about all the time.
Yeah.
Again, I almost called her Misery. And he tells him that that book is unacceptable. So now we're going to write a new one where you got to figure out a way to bring Misery back to life.
And use Kathy as Annie. I keep calling her Kathy. In the movie, her name's Annie.
Whatever.
Yeah, and she wants to be the inspiration for the book.
Mm-hmm. No.
That's going to be a bad book.
It's not going to be a fun read.
It's not going to paint you in a good light. So there's this fucking bitch who's got me here. Spilt some damn soup on my bed.
Day one.
Yeah.
And won't stop jiggling my broken ass legs around when she's upset with me.
She got some fucking tape wrapped around it.
It's not great. I'm laying here battered and bruised, and all I got to hear about is the cockadoodie car.
From the Dragon Lady.
From the Dragon Lady, dude. Pejorative term for an Asian person.
But, not in this book.
No.
It's because she's a baby killer.
Yeah. Fucking, in a way, he does give her a big middle finger by making her the gravedigger in this edition that he's writing.
Which she just loves.
Loves it. So that backfired.
Yep.
Fucking, what, and also, like, you're just gonna write it. You're just gonna write the book. Okay, that's super cooperative. I wouldn't be writing any fucking thing. I'm gonna make you read it after. Nah, I want to be private and protected. And like the whole time, the best scene in the movie for me, is when she gets back from town when she decides that God has told her that we're gonna write this new book. I brought you a typewriter. I got you this glossy ass paper that's the most expensive, and whatever else fucking is required in order to do some book writing. First of all, I got you a typewriter with an N that don't work. Fuck you, bitch.
For real.
You want me to write this book? You give me a broken utensil. How about you just give me an unsharpened pencil that's broken in half?
Whenever they show him typing on it too, it's like, yeah, the N is not there. So you see like the word and, it's just space D.
It's almost like he's deliberately choosing words with N's in them.
Yeah.
There's so many words with N's that he uses in this book.
So fun fact about that typewriter.
Yeah.
Stephen King's typewriter.
I'm not surprised by that, even remotely.
Didn't have the N. The N was busted on it.
Busted N. So he had to fucking literally deal with this?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be writing.
No.
And like later on, and he's like, can I read it while you're working on it? I'll fill in the N's for you. So you're basically an intern.
Yeah, pretty much.
Interns do that.
Oh my God. Oh, that's what she said. I thought she said she'd fill in the end. She would just make it up in her head.
I'm going to just write in with a pencil the ends.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
Around this time, Paul decides that he's not going to take his painkillers anymore and starts stashing them in the mattress.
Yeah.
Smart.
Very smart.
I didn't have any complaints about his attempts at escape or his attempts at controlling the situation because it was all shit that I would also do.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going to wait for her to go to town. I'm going to complain about the type of paper that you got and how wrong it is. First of all, valid complaint.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You got me paper that smudges the ink if you touch it. And then she flies off the handle.
Oh my God. She thuds him in the lap with the heavy paper on his lumpy. Did you even set the bones back together, you crazy bitch?
Barely did.
Just jutting, just bones, just broken bone glass up in your leg.
Yeah, painful. And that's when she calls him a crybaby. But also with the gaslighting, it's like, I do everything for you. I went all the way into town. I got you a typewriter and I got you paper so that you could write this book. I'm doing this for you, despite the fact that you don't even want to be here remotely.
Any complaint he has is like, I do everything for you.
Yeah. How about a little respect?
Yeah, no, despite having his legs broken like that, he actually makes several attempts.
Yeah.
Like at some point he realizes she's gone to town and he like throws himself out of bed.
100%.
Busted legs first.
Now, when he does that, I had like a vivid memory of was like exactly what it was like after I broke my leg, just trying to get up to piss.
Oh,
everything was excruciatingly painful for the first little bit. Every time that I walked to the bathroom, I could feel my foot drop out because the bones weren't attached to each other yet. It was plate, and I had to deal with that for like a week. And yeah, I spilled fucking hot water on myself trying to make ramen. That was great. But yeah, no, everything is a fucking pain and super arduous when your legs are broken. For sure.
Oh, absolutely. And this guy traverses it like a champ.
Yeah, despite that.
Heaving himself out of bed and wheelchair.
What are you doing on the floor? Let's get you back up into bed.
Yeah, it's my fault for not having the proper bed.
Yeah, he was nice. Fucking he put sheets over top of himself for no reason.
His surprise, like she gets him a surprise for burning his book. It's an electric razor, the typewriter, the paper, and a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And that is met with sarcasm. I forget what he says.
Fucking Paul looks at the death of his life's work and goes, I would prefer cheese and crackers.
Fuck, I love Paul.
He goes, can I get a snack? Oh, yeah? Here's your fucking snack, eh?
Yeah.
You're gonna write this book for me. And he goes, I'd rather have cheese and crackers.
He's got a shitty attitude this whole time, and
rightfully so.
Absolutely.
100% rightfully so. You'd be getting more than just sarcasm from me.
I do not blame him.
Get me out of this house constantly. Like, we're not sleeping. For the entire time that you have me held captive, I am screaming. I'm screaming swears because I know you hate him. And every time when he starts writing this book, he just writes fuck, which is the best book ever.
Oh, yeah.
But that's all I would write. You bring as much paper as you'd like. This is what you're getting out of me. You're just getting fuck, shit, pussy over and over.
I'm in.
Read it.
Yeah, until your legs are well enough for you to shamble out of there.
Yeah. My genius needs his rest before he writes.
And then your genius is just fuck, shit. And
best book. I'd read that book cover to cover.
Just typing away like Liberace, like Mozart just on a piano.
Absolutely beautiful.
Here's your first 5 chapters, bitch.
Also, when fucking Paul realizes that the paper's shitty and it smudges, he goes to Annie, who clearly has been on this farm all of her life by herself, and really all she knows is misery and fucking like, what's that guy's name? Ed McMahon?
Yeah.
Then like that's her entire breadth of knowledge. Goes, this paper sucks. Could you go back to the town and get me some long-grained Mimeo? Like she'd have any idea what the fuck you just said. What are any of those words, Paul? You don't come across those words in the barn.
No, you're gonna have to write that one down for me. I'll just take that note to town and just wander around business to business, showing them it until I find it. Dude.
So Annie goes back to town, and now we get Paul fucking turning into goddamn locksmith with a bobby pin.
Goddamn MacGyver. Yeah. He bends a bobby pin in one spot, jams it into a lock, and he's like, I've written about picking locks. I should be able to do it.
Because that's how that works.
Click, click, click. Oh, well, all right.
It turns out, fuck university. Just write a book about the thing you want to know, and the knowledge just flows right into you.
Absolutely.
It's like tapping into your third eye.
It's that's God's finger just touching you on the head right there.
Etymology is super important to me. That's like the origins and evolutions of language. So in order for me to know more about it, I just have to write the word dago over and over.
Don't say that. Don't say that word.
I don't know where the fuck she got the wheelchair from, but she's just like, it gives every indication that she's had people held captive in her house before. Like she was ready for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like she just like walks into the hospital and just like walks out and Just people don't say anything because she looks like she works there.
Yeah. Well, she also looks like somebody who's convicted of murdering children because she was.
Yeah.
So you'd think
because
a
she worked
couple
there.
of alarm bells would go ring-a-ding if she walked into a hospital.
Well, maybe she's just quick. But like she does.
She doesn't go anywhere quick. Look at her.
Yeah, I don't know. She must have just had those things because like she also had all the other things too. So she must have just like swiped a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Before she got fired.
On her way to trial.
Yeah, and like stored it away while she went to jail or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, man. You start pulling that string and the whole sweater comes unraveled.
It's a pretty comfy sweater though too. Look at her. She just like slow rolls in at one point that she was on trial for something in Denver at one point.
Yeah, she just like casually mentions that.
Oh, when I was on the witness stand in Denver. Yeah, what for?
Yeah,
how about you just enlighten me on that real quick?
Let me follow up on that real quick, you dirty bird.
You know, lovers don't share secrets. Yeah, Paul's fucking around.
He finds a phone and he like picks it up and there's
guts have been torn right out of that shit.
It's a shell phone.
It's a shell phone.
It's a shell of a phone.
Hilarious.
Yep. And so
a cellular phone.
I feel like they just put that in there just to make her seem a little more nutty.
Yeah.
Like why would she have that? She's not allowed to call people.
I would think, well, my thinking at the time was in the event that he does get out, I'm not going to keep an intact phone around.
That's smart.
You know?
Just maybe don't have a phone.
Yeah, just throw the whole phone in the garbage instead of just the guts of it. He's got fucking Spider-Man reflexes. He almost knocks a penguin off, and he catches that shit like fucking actually Spider-Man.
Yeah, and that fucking penguin comes back to bite him in the ass.
That fucking penguin.
That goddamn fucking penguin.
Its favorite thing is to look south always.
Because that's where it goes.
And you fucked it up, Paul.
How did you not know?
You just had my penguin miserable. First of all, this bitch has 30,000 little figurines in her house, and she knows how all of them face.
That's not good.
No, it's bad.
That's bad. That's bad. That's too much to keep track of, and also she has just a litany of diagnoses. I'm sure that
she's got plenty of D's.
I like that he didn't give a fuck about that penguin.
Mm-hmm.
He just like fucking slammed it back down.
Fuck, this stupid penguin sucks.
But then he opens up like her drug cabinet and he steals a handful of the
Novril, I think it's called.
Yeah, which is supposed to be like it's a fake drug.
Yeah,
but it's a painkiller.
Yeah, sure. It's fucking like Oxy.
Yeah. And he makes sure to put that back the way it is, though. Yeah,
he takes the one package out of this fucking shelf full of packages, and then he reaches up and he puts the next one behind it facing, like, leaning forward like it was.
Yeah.
So he's trying to, make sure that there's no breadcrumbs, but fuck that penguin, though.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what turns out to be the most important part. Like, he could have fucking set fire to the living room. As long as that penguin was still facing south, it would have been fine.
She probably walked in and went... My penguin's not facing south. What happened to the penguin?
Why does the penguin face south, Matt?
Well, I don't remember why.
Because I can't remember, but it's either penguins are native to either Arctic or Antarctica only.
Yeah,
it's one of those two. I'm not sure which.
Yeah. It's the south one.
Okay, so that's why he's looking home.
Yeah, absolutely.
For some reason, he really, like, he tries the front door and it's locked and he's like, what a surprise. And then he, like, becomes really interested in, and I didn't put together that I assume now that it was the back door in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like, he tries to get there and that shit's locked. If the front door's locked, all the fucking doors are locked. You're a hostage.
It's interesting that his lock-picking skills ended at the one door.
They stopped coming in handy once he faced another door.
Well, it's like in Skyrim, when you open the lock, that lock breaks. The lock-pick breaks. So
that's a used lockpick. You can't use it again.
Yeah.
But he does use it again.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
So yeah, every time fucking, that's what I wanted. I wrote, every time Paul crawls somewhere, it reminds me of trying to piss with my broken leg. I want to say there was at least 2 times where I fell using those crutches and I just had to like crawl my ass back to the couch. I'm
imagining like you know how when you're on carpet and you walk in a certain spot, it like you get like a path going.
Yeah.
You just have like a drag path from the couch to the bathroom.
It's a snail trail from the bathroom and back.
So as he's crawling around the house, he also finds that she's got all of his books, some autographs, a book called Memory Lane.
Yeah.
Little scrapbook there.
Which is good. It's good to have that.
Yeah.
Keep your memories. We'll log that one for later.
Yeah, and then Kathy comes home.
Yeah, apparently town is like 10 minutes away because he wasn't out of the room for that long.
No, and apparently from her house to where she parks the car is way more than 10 minutes because he has time to army crawl back to his wheelchair, get up in it, roll through the house, put everything back the way it was.
Get his arm back in that sling.
And then lock the door with the pick lock.
Yeah, which took forever to unlock.
Mm-hmm.
And all fucking Kathy Bates does is drop a ream on the steps. And listen, she's a heavy-set gal. But I can't imagine it takes that long for her to bend over and pick something up.
Hey, man, bending over, it's hard. Everybody's different. You don't know what her knees are like. She, probably let out several grunts in the process.
Which is what I was going to say, too. You could probably, from inside the house, hear exactly where she is on the property at all times. Because she walks like an elephant.
Yeah.
She stomps up those fucking stairs like she's punishing them.
Well, she's making sure, like, hey, if anybody's out of the room,
better get back in that shit. I'm coming.
I like that, like, if Paul were to have popped the lock on the front door, if it was left unlocked for whatever reason, where's he going? He's in a wheelchair in the snow. Just follow the tracks.
I would... Even if he got out of the wheelchair and just took his chances with the winter and the wolves, you would be able to see his trench.
Yeah,
into the fucking tree line.
He's not going very far. It's a snowstorm, so I doubt you're going to be able to roll a wheelchair through like that much snow.
Yeah, let alone crawl through it.
Oh, where is he? Look in the field. He's just like, fuck. Shit.
Not even in the field, just like 20 feet over there. Like, don't look!
I'm on a rock. What the fuck is this?
I'm on a rock. Why is there so much gravel here? First thing she does is go into the fucking room with his nice new paper and sees him having just masked the pills sticking out of his waistband with his hand and sweaty as all get out. And she goes, "You're perspiring like crazy. What were you doing in here?" And he tries to cover it by being like, "I'm fucking suffering. I'm in so much pain. Where are my fucking pills at, woman?"
Yeah, he does.
What he should have said was, "I was jerking off." That explains everything. Why my hand is right at my waist, why I'm sweaty as fuck in this chair, and I'm surprised to see you.
Yeah, it's been how long? And clearly you're not helping me out there, Kathy.
No,
so
I appreciate being fed and shaved, but, you know, your hands are good for other things too, all right?
Yeah.
A man has needs.
This is the one job I'll do by myself. Look, I'll take the shaving, but I'll milk myself. Thank you, Kathy.
I was pulling it. Also, like, you know...
She would have a stroke.
Yes, she would. That would be the most vulgar thing she's ever heard in her entire life.
Just fucking look her right in the fucking eyes. I pull it. Holy shit.
Well, you wouldn't want her involved in that because she'd probably try to keep it.
Yeah, she seems like she'd be the type to be pegging.
I'm getting all fucking, like... And this comes up later on in the movie, and I'm mad that it took so long to come up. The fucking sheriff decides to get off his fat, dumb ass and go over to the fucking general store because he sees Annie have a road rage fit and goes, that's really weird behavior, being mad at somebody who almost hit you with their car. I better ask around about this woman. You didn't think to ask about the fucking one psycho in your town that every time a Paul Sheldon book comes out, she's in line at 5 a.m. at the store?
Yeah.
Paul Sheldon is missing, and I remember there being one resident of this small mountain town who gets fucking so soaked that it's like Old Faithful on the sidewalk every time he puts a book out.
Well, yeah, you know what happens is she sees that, and then she clues in, or sorry, he sees that. I'm misgendering that old white-haired, that cisgendered white man.
The most privileged man in town.
So he sees her do that, and then it like clicks in because he spends all of his time reading these goddamn books.
Yeah.
The one quote that stuck out to him in that book, he's like, wait a minute. Now, who the fuck loves Paul Sheldon so much that when she was on trial for murdering babies, she quoted it when she was on the stand. Now, who Now, who would have done that?
He fucking crawls out of his dementia fog for 30 seconds to remember a news article from like 30 years ago.
Yeah, because he has to go to the library and look through one of those like
rifle through old dirty papers.
Yeah, and then there it is. Well, that's all I need.
So this is they find the car around this time. Mm-hmm. They do one more flyover, and the fucking car becomes unburied suddenly.
Yeah, there it is.
And the state police go, "Well, he's dead."
Where?
That's the end of the investigation.
Case
because
closed.
He obviously let me tell you, the fucking state trooper who is working alongside the FBI goes, "Well, he crawled out of his car, so either he's buried in the snow or he's eaten by animals, because anybody who found him would have taken him to the hospital." Top-notch police work you just did.
Wow.
18 assumptions you just made?
Give him a medal, man.
And then the fucking decrepit old 85-year-old sheriff goes, "Hey, this door was clearly pried open from the outside. Even my cataract-filled eyes can see that shit." So it turns out he's a better cop than the cops.
Yeah. Because, like, this car crash is literally, it's like 20 feet from the road.
It's not far. When I rolled this is the other thing too, okay?
Oh, it's this movie really spoke to you.
It did. I was in an accident exactly like this accident. It was snowy as fuck, black ice on the road.
You just finished your big novel?
It was more so a bunch of notes about people's whereabouts who didn't know I was there.
Okay.
Because I was a private investigator at the time, and I had just finished watching somebody.
Well, that's what you do.
So technically a book in a way.
Yeah, okay.
A novella, if you will. Hit a patch of black ice, flew through the air about 10 feet, landed upside down. I didn't get nearly as fucked up as this guy.
Thank God.
I did crack my head off the passenger door because I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, but no blood, no busted up legs. I don't know what the fuck he was doing in that car. He must have just had a hammer, and then while he was in the air, started bashing his own legs.
I was thinking he might have been traveling with bowling balls.
Yeah, just
loose bowling balls.
Fucking a dozen of them in the passenger seat to make it feel like you have company on the long drive. Dressed up like a person.
It's part of his after novel ritual.
He got massively fucked up by this tiny fender bender he got in.
His legs look like somebody... Like he owed somebody money,
yeah, dude.
And they got their pay.
They happened to catch him on the road.
And they used bowling balls and just sledgehammers. Yeah. Like he's got Frankenstein's alcoholic legs. That's what it looked like. If I woke up from a car accident and you're like, "Well, I'm really proud of the work I did on your legs."
Yeah.
I'm like, cut them off.
Yeah, dude.
Cut them the fuck off.
I see fucking my elephant man feet, and I go, I don't want those anyway.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be able to walk anyway? Well,
regardless?
Let's just go ahead and you feed those to the dogs.
Mm-hmm. Or your pig.
Well, yeah, the pig would definitely fucking eat it.
Totally. They're huge fans of human meat. Yeah, dude. I see my fucking tree stumps that I got to hobble around with for the rest of my life and go, just keep them.
Yeah. Some cosmetic surgery is going to be required, Kathy. I'm going to be suing you for medical malpractice the second I get the fuck out of here.
Paul fucking gives up the ghost and realizes that there's a very slim chance of his rescue. So he starts to really warm up to Annie at this point. You want to have dinner with me? We're working on this book together.
Oh, yeah.
In between this, there is a fucking super annoying montage.
I love the montage. It's like him like gearing up for the fight of his life by lifting a typewriter up and down.
And fucking the sheriff's reading the fucking books just by like firelight at home nicely with glasses on.
He's doing his part for the investigation.
This is like the most Stephen King injecting himself into his own reading. Like he's literally written a scene where people of all ages enjoy this author's novels.
What are you going to do, man? What are you going to do?
This is fucking like you're pitching this to your goddamn writing agent like, okay, and now in this chapter, everybody in town really enjoys Paul Sheldon's, Paul Sheldon's books, and we get to just watch them enjoy Paul Sheldon's books.
Steven.
It's not me, okay? I'm saying it's not me. It's just a guy who looks and sounds and behaves exactly like I would and drives the same fucking car I drive. And also, when we do the movie, I'm going to give him my typewriter. It's not me, though.
Steven. Steven.
I promise it's not me. He's my age, and he's got my haircut.
Steven, this had better not be you.
It's not me, all right? He might as well have made Paul Sheldon like a fucking anagram or whatever it's called for Stephen King.
Yeah. I mean, it might be. I'm not gonna fool around with those letters.
Steve, the author in this book, his name is King and Steve.
Oh my God! So you get Paul putting all the powder from his caps from his pain pills into a little paper envelope.
He is doing that.
Yeah, because Kathy gives him like a little sheet of paper, and he's like, just in case you get any ideas for the book. And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't expect too much.
Which, no, you shouldn't. I'm stuck here against my will. The last thing I'm thinking about is writing a misery novel for your ass.
Yeah. So you get that, and then
little things though, like so when he is scrambling back into the chair, he remembers to put his arm in his sling. When he's stashing the pills in the mattress, he uses a fork to cut a hole in the fucking mattress just in case it gets flipped, which is what people do. You know, like you change the bedding and you flip the fucking mattress around.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't be found. And then when he's doing putting the powder into the little envelope that he's made, he still eats the case that the pills come in to get rid of the evidence.
Yeah.
Small, smart shit. It's like, okay, cool.
Brilliant.
The thing that pisses me off the most is this fucking, and it happens later on, but this idiot, when he's scrambling around the house again, grabs the biggest, most easily to notice that it's missing knife in the kitchen.
Yeah, he does.
And it doesn't work for it. Get a paring knife instead.
Yeah.
Stash that shit in your ass. You can't fit a knife that big in there.
No. It's like the most cumbersome knife because the way he tries to stash it in his sling is so he's still holding on to it.
And he's got to practice pulling it out quickly.
Yeah, and to do that, he has to pull down the sling with his other hand.
This effort.
That's too much. The second you do that, she's going to see what you're doing.
Yeah. Get something that's like the world's tiniest knife, like a prison shank, and just bop, bop, bop when she turns around for a second. We're doing the warm-up to my captor Stockholm Syndrome shit, which is obviously a ploy because he's got the fucking powder envelope.
Yeah.
And goes, would you have dinner with me tonight?
Oh, ooh la la.
I'm so happy with this book that we're writing together. I'd like you to be involved in the whole process.
Yeah, just to really, really celebrate. We clink glasses of $4 drugstore wine.
Now, this wine looks like it's a fucking fancy moonshine jug, number one. But he's trying to make this fucking... What he's trying to do is put the powder in the wine so that she can fucking die of an overdose of painkillers, which leaves him stranded with the inability to drive because his legs don't work.
Yeah, he's really not thinking that through.
So he tries to sort of account for everything. She makes a nice dinner of meatloaf and Spam. To give it a little bit of extra zip. Yeah, I didn't know zip was synonymous with bland.
I didn't know zip was meat that came from a can.
Canned meat hunk.
And what part of the animal is that? It isn't.
I was going to say all.
It's the parts that they didn't want.
What he didn't account for in this case, though, was Butterfinger's ass fat fucking sausage-fingered Kathy knocking that wine over in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Can't handle a nice glass to save her life, this farm whore.
Yeah, and I'd like to think she might have done that on purpose, but
maybe.
I think she just fumbled it.
I get that. Turns out she's like some kind of fucking secret diabolical genius.
Yeah, and oh yeah, Paul. Oh fuck, my notes are out of order.
That's fine. I was like spam loaf. I'll throw up. At this point, Paul has written 40 chapters of a book, and no police have knocked on anybody's doors to find his whereabouts.
Yeah, it's been 4 weeks.
Yes,
4 weeks is the time span of this movie.
How hot, fucking shitty, long, short does it take to write a book?
Apparently 4 weeks. 40...
That's so short of an amount of time to write an entire book.
I agree.
I don't know like what it's like when you're Stephen King and you could just shit this shit out onto paper easily, like in your sleep at a hotel or something. But if I were to sit down and write a whole ass book, I'll see you in 3 years.
Oh, for sure. I'm going to be putting that down because I've got a couple things to do in between chapters.
The only person I know who could easily write a book in a month is Adam Skinner, and you know the quality of book you're going to get.
Well,
it's going to be a lot of pages about Will Smith making clones so that he can fuck himself in an orgy.
They're all good books.
They're great books.
Like, spelling doesn't matter, which is really cool because it doesn't matter to me either.
No, he doesn't give a fuck.
But I feel like if I was to write a book, I would be like, shit, I better make sure this is spelled correctly.
I asked him about it once, and he told me that the way that he writes those is he sits down and he doesn't delete anything. He just writes down what he's thinking and it fucking leaves it.
And
he's thinking is nightmares.
It's erotic fan fiction is what it is. It's erotic fan fiction for things that do not need it.
So if anybody would like a copy of True Horny Stories or its sequel, Truer, Hornier Stories,
I think there's a third one coming out, Truest, Horniest Stories.
Good fucking luck finding it anywhere.
Yep. I think you find that right on like lulu.com.
Yeah, if it's even still there. And I really hope it gets kickbacks if people buy from there.
So we come to a day where there's a bit of rain.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rainy day, and Kathy Bates gets the blues when it's a rainy day.
Turns out the blues is seriously and with conviction contemplating suicide.
It's just a little blues.
Thinking real hard about killing yourself with a gun.
The rain does it to her. It's the rain. It gives her the blues.
That pesky rain sure makes me want to put a cold barrel in my mouth.
I'd hate to be her roommate in April.
Every day you're just skulking around quietly and horrified without blinking.
And you come in and
like, pills.
Hey,
I fucking pills, Paul.
I have this gun. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think about using it. Well, I'm going to go.
Oh, by the way, I'm in love with you, and I know you don't love me back.
Might put bullets in this gun. We'll see.
I better go. I'm afraid I'm going to put bullets in it. Also, like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really need to be said that the love here isn't reciprocated. Remember that time that you lied to my face about contacting my loved ones about my whereabouts? Mm-hmm. It makes it real difficult to have some good feelings about you after that.
Yeah, I'm really feeling safe and comfortable, and I'm just happy to be here against my will.
So fucking, yeah, just in the dead of night, she pieces out in her car. And this is when Paul grabs the fucking giant knife that sucks.
Yeah, and he finds the book of Memory Lane.
Yeah, Memory Lane's just out, chilling.
Memory Lane, just wide open. Anybody can just peek in there.
So, you know, you're wheeling yourself through the living room, and you come across the open scrapbook that you may have noticed previously. I wonder what my fucking hostage fucking captor's life was like before she decided to kidnap famous people.
What's she looking to remember forever and ever?
Well, as it turns out, she's looking to remember murdering her father by pushing him off a cliff, murdering her friends by pushing them off of cliffs, and then killing babies until she got found out.
I think she also got her husband in there, too.
I believe she did get her husband. She really likes to push people off cliffs in weird ways, because it's always like dies in a freak fall accident.
I would stop going on hikes with her after the first time.
Keep this woman away from mountains.
Like they're going, two people go up the hill, one person comes back. That person doesn't get to go back up the hill.
Pretty unique this happens rarely when serial killers will just change up their MO halfway through. Because I don't know what cliffs you're finding in the hospital. The fucking, the ice, what's it called there? The fucking pediatric ward?
Yeah.
Or whatever?
Yeah, she's like the lead nurse of the children's place.
So in absence of an Elora Gorge nearby, we're just going to probably inject them with things that kill them.
Oh, probably.
Because I have to kill them.
Well, yeah, they're babies. They have to die.
Yeah, I guess I'll do it it's not my favorite way to kill things.
And somehow she gets the name Dragon Lady.
I don't know what the correlation is there at all.
I don't know.
At what point in Japanese lore did somebody just start offing children in a hospital?
I'm not up to date with all of it, so I couldn't
Does Smog like to fucking murder babies? I'm just thinking about dragons.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hobbits are kind of like babies.
Fair enough. Okay, well, you got that.
So at no point did I don't think he put it together. When he finds this Memory Lane book, her book of murders.
Yeah.
He's fucking right there. He's the open page.
It's the first fucking page in there.
It's like his car accident and everything.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, they found him. They're saying he's dead. Like, he's in that book.
You're in the dead book.
You're fucked.
You're in Death Note. Put your twos together.
Yep. But yeah, guess that doesn't click. So he goes and gets a knife and just goes back to bed.
Yeah. And so fucking she gets home and doesn't come in. And he goes, see you in the morning. Oh, I got a surprise for you.
Oh, yeah, he's really going to have the upper hand on her. Yeah. That's for sure.
He sure as shit does see her in the morning, but it's not in the way that he likes.
Yeah, no, I think he wakes up to getting a needle.
This is the second time that she did the thing. Like, she was going to put him out with chemicals anyway, but waits for him to wake up and see her face towering over him like a monster.
Well, why wouldn't you?
And then, bop, there's your sleep juice.
I would. That's what I would do.
That's horrifying.
I want my face to be the last one you see
just
before
to be a dick.
The morning.
Yeah. What happens this morning?
Well, in the morning, he wakes up again to find that he's been strapped to the bed. And, she noticed the penguin wasn't facing due south. That's because she's a psychopath. She realized that he needs more time to accept that he loves being in the house.
And that they're meant to be together.
Yeah, more time. Just more time to accept that the house is a great place to be.
So in the previous scene at night, Annie admits that she understands that eventually he's going to be healthy and he'll want to leave the house. And during that, she, I suppose, went on the drive to come to terms with that fact. Changed her mind in the morning. So how, pray tell, does she ensure that he won't have more inclinations to leave the home?
Well, hobble on over here and I'll tell you all about this little trick, this little procedure she's learned about.
This let's get this out of the way. Terribly, terribly racist procedure.
It's not a good procedure to have done to you.
It's not.
So in the early days of the Kimberley diamond mines, whatever that is.
Whatever the fuck.
I'm guessing blood diamonds.
Yeah.
The workers, if they were caught stealing diamonds, they would have to punish them, but like.
What kind of workers are we talking about?
Help.
The help?
So if these unpaid workers were to be caught stealing, because, why should they have anything?
Yeah.
They're there for the diamonds. They wanted to punish them, but make sure, they're going to keep working, but they don't want them to run away.
We're going to make sure that you can't run anywhere.
So they did this totally medical procedure.
I believe this was signed off by very many doctors and medical professionals after rigorous testing.
And the operation is called hobbling. Now, why don't you tell me what hobbling is?
Well, we take a piece of wood, a block, if you will. We put that shit right between your legs. Not up high, down low, where the ankles are.
Yeah.
And then we take a very large hammer, and we hit those 90 degrees.
Yeah.
We turn that straight line into a bent line.
We make sure your knees stay straight, but you can still touch the bottoms of your feet together. So... Yeah, she definitely bends his shins 90 degrees, but in the book, it's worse.
Okay. So, now, I do very much want to know what happens in the book here.
In the book,
right,
she cuts his feet right off.
Oh.
And then just cauterizes the stump.
Oh, geez Louise.
So...
Why couldn't you have put... Now, don't get me wrong. I really liked watching Paul's foot just go over like that. Really liked it. Why wouldn't you just put the cut off and burn in there, though?
Yeah, for real. Do both.
I can only assume that they wanted him to be able to walk with a cane at the end.
I don't even think he does at the end.
He does.
Does he? I don't remember him being anything other than sitting.
After the, because he meets his agent at the because he's got that new book. But you see him walking with a cane beforehand. It's short, but it's in there. So
when Kathy realizes that he's going to be like healed up and ready to go,
right.
It had been 4 weeks.
Month.
So one month. How long?
Hey.
How long for you with your one broken leg?
I'm happy you brought this up.
Yeah.
It's established very early in the movie after Paul wakes up that he has a tibia and fibula fracture. I don't know how much you know about this.
Well, I know quite a bit, but you go about it.
Those are the biggest bones in the legs.
They certainly are.
Below the knee. When those break, it's not an easy or fun heal. I I only broke one, and it was at the ankle, which is the thinner part. So my plate and my healing process would not have been nearly as rigorous or extensive as Paul's in this film. I broke my leg in June. I started walking in November.
So this whole hobbling is unnecessary. He's not going anywhere.
He's fucking hobbled. For 4 more months, he's hobbled as fuck.
At least.
Yes.
Like
I pushed it. I cut my cast off myself and said, fuck it. And I was limping even after that for like 3 weeks.
Ugh. And like, he's got zombie legs. Like, he's not going anywhere. You don't need to do this to him.
No.
Good God.
Overkill. Annie.
Yeah, so then we cut to the sheriff and his wife. And
First of all, let's get this out of the way.
Okay.
Paul's feet are straight again for some reason. Annie is out front fucking around with the pig and looks inside and sees that he's watching her and goes, "Hi, pumpkin," and he blasts her with a middle finger.
I forgot.
Fuck you, Annie. So good.
And what does she say?
Goes,
she's like,
"You kidder."
Yeah.
No. That is that I've never meant a middle finger more in my life than in that moment.
It's every drip of politeness is gone from his body, and it's just BOP!
You remember the Moonanites from Aqua Teen every time they have to leave the planet? Yeah. And there's one where he's just extending his finger to Earth, and he goes, "This is an incredible strain, but I'm doing it as hard as I can."
Yeah, this is the hardest I've ever done this.
Yeah, exactly that.
Oh my God.
That's how hard I'm giving you the finger.
Yeah,
after breaking my legs and then breaking my legs.
Just knuckles popping.
Yeah, I'll break my finger off with how hard I'm doing this.
Good Lord. Yeah. So the sheriff's on to her. At this point, he goes to his desk, and his wife's sitting there like touching his papers. He's like, "Hey, I got a system."
What's your system? An OCD person's worst nightmare?
Yeah.
Because that's what the fuck it is.
I get it. I've got a system. My system it goes on top.
We're just looking at Matt's desk, and we have a sub-layer of highlighters and cables, and then we have a nice a dusting on top of hard drives and headphones and just random papers.
Yep.
Your system it goes on top.
Yeah.
I love that system.
And what's at the bottom is the least important.
Yeah.
What's on the top? You got my headphones, you got my fanny pack.
It's we're stacked in order of how often we touch things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, I totally get that.
And then he finds the fucking note. This is right after he saw Annie have a roid rage fit, where she calls a person a cockadoodie and then a poop.
Yeah. And in that case, I would keep driving. That's fine.
Yeah, that's all good with me.
Okay.
I don't know if you had the subtitles on or not. I did.
No.
The person who almost hit her while he's driving by and she's parked, right before she calls him a poop, you get to hear a man yell, "Sit on this, lady." So, a pretty subdued response to being told to fuck your finger.
What kind of fucking small town is this? Like, good Lord, it's a small town. She's gonna follow you home.
Yeah.
She's gonna know where you fucking live.
Probably is gonna find out.
Yeah, this is also the scene where he goes into the store and he's like, "Hey, she bought anything weird?" And he's like, just typing paper."
Yeah.
And he just does a 180 and she's like, "Oh, what? Did she do something wrong?" No. She's just a suspect in a murder is all.
Yeah, well, you can't say that yet. Buster is my favorite human character because the fucking sarcasm that this guy just puts on wild display. And I understand because he's got to deal with that bitch wife that he's got, who is even more sarcastic somehow.
Yeah.
But your sarcasm really is what has given this marriage its spice over the years, is what he says to her. But in this scene, yeah, he's like, unless you consider typing paper unusual. Nope. Nothing unusual about that. And it's like, well, the way you said it leads me to believe that there's something unusual about that.
Yeah, the manner you spun around and no longer have any more questions.
Yeah, you took off like the fucking Roadrunner the second I said typing paper.
Hey, what's going on, man? But yeah, so
here we go.
He drives immediately to her house.
I'm a little curious about this lady.
Yeah. As you would when you find out anybody's still typing on a typewriter. You drive right over to their house to see if they Like, what's wrong?
What's your problem?
You must be somebody who's kidnapping people,
Yeah.
because why else would you have a typewriter?
No regular person would do that.
And so he goes and walks up to the old house, and this is when Kathy runs in and just gives Paul a quick needle and throws him in the basement.
And to Paul's credit, he really tries to strangle her to death right before he falls asleep. Like, oh, if I'm going to sleep, so are you.
Night, night.
And then, stops just short of chucking him down the basement stairs, really.
For real.
She was real close to doing that.
I thought that's what it was. My memory was she just like pushed the wheelchair down the stairs and was like, all right.
Fuck those feet right up, even worse.
Well, I mean, she's already ruined his soccer career. Any like future aspirations of football or soccer are just gone.
No, it's over.
Maybe
it's
golf, but
Special Olympics basketball.
There you go. There you go.
Perfect. Buster shows up to the house, and Annie tries to overwhelm him with small talk to death.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you know anything about Paul Sheldon? Well, here's every fact about him in chronological order.
Yeah. From birth to death in a day, I know everything about Paul Sheldon. Let me display that for you.
Yeah.
And Buster's like, I don't fucking care that much. But then, like just walking through the house while he's trying to like just sort of, do a quick check.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a cursory glance.
Just poking around.
She doesn't shut her fucking mouth about Paul Sheldon the whole time.
Yeah.
And then tries to put him to sleep with Coco.
Yeah. She also claims that God was like, hey, you got to be the next Paul Sheldon to try and cover up why she's got all the typing papers and why she has the perfectly written novel right there.
So here's what's interesting. Like, she has enough self-awareness to know that she's keeping a person against her will. That's illegal. He's a fucking missing person because she's got the newspaper clipping. She knows that she's done wrong, and she knows that she's psychotic, but none of that is enough to be like, hey, maybe the voice in my head isn't God. Maybe that's just a voice in my fucking dumb, crazy head.
I think people prefer God.
I would prefer God than, I'm fucked.
Yeah. Whoops.
Buster, while he's exploring the house, plays fucking peekaboo around the goddamn door frame with her so that she'll go into the kitchen. And then he tries, for the purpose of hiding the fact that he's going to go upstairs and look upstairs.
Oh, he marches right upstairs.
You're in a fucking farmhouse from 1748. She's going to know exactly where you are in the house at all times.
Oh, yeah. You can't step without, like, an echoing floor creak through the whole house.
Waking the deer outside.
There's no sneaking.
None.
Not a snick to be snuck.
Don't even bother. She makes that abundantly clear by just being upstairs when he's upstairs.
Yeah, he goes right upstairs, opens her bedroom where she's got, like, this bed where nobody fucks on.
No.
A TV where she watches like this dumb Love Connection show.
Yeah.
And eats cheesies and drinks a 2-liter of Coke.
Right to herself.
Right to herself.
Yeah.
And
she probably doesn't let the pig have any cheesies.
Oh, probably not. It would be bad for the pig. Mm-hmm. I like that he lets her make the cocoa and then just like, I'm not drinking that. And fucks off.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah. And like, not even a sip.
Well, when she offered, he did say no, and then she was like, well, you're going to fucking drink it anyway. So, yeah, she tries to force fucking I suspected that she was going to fucking put pills in that shit.
So did I.
Because she's really trying to force it on him, even as he's, like, walking out the door.
Yeah, I kind of caught that, too, and I imagine she probably did.
Here's something that we didn't point out also. The door to Annie's basement is a false wall, like in Scooby-Doo.
I missed that.
So I didn't notice it the first time, but Buster leaves, and then Paul wakes up in the basement and starts yelling and knocking down grills and fucking just making a mess. And then he comes back in and notices the weird wall with the seam in it. And this door you have to push in order to open it. Okay. Like it push clicks open and bounces back out.
Oh.
There has never in the history of home building and home ownership been a false wall to a basement that didn't have a victim in it.
You know what? I've never seen a Property Brothers where they're like, and here's the dungeon.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's you pull this book, and this is where you keep people.
This fucking fucking candle sconce.
Yeah,
comes out.
I love those.
45 degrees, and then the bookshelf swings around, and there's a person in a chair with their mouth gagged.
Or classic chained to a wall.
Yes.
By your arms.
Mm-hmm. And then it's a slide down to like a Dracula's lair.
It's always a slide down to a Dracula's lair.
Yeah. Anyway, as a sheriff or any officer of the law, that's the first place I check anytime I go into any house for any reason.
Yeah, where's your basement?
Yeah. Even if it's like, oh, there's just a domestic dispute on the front lawn. Let me go inside and check your false wall basement.
Yeah, hey, I'm going to need to see everybody's basement. All right, everybody line up. Give me your keys to your house. I'm going in the basement. So what does he find when he finally pops that little door open?
He finds a fucking shotgun bullet right through his chest is what he finds.
He sure does.
He sees Paul for 2 seconds, and then he gets blown away.
Then, yeah, Paul sees his lungs and innards.
Yeah. Well, that's a fine how do you do.
It is. And how do you do with a dead sheriff in your basement?
Well, how we do now is it's murder-suicide time.
Yeah.
Annie fucking turns into a goddamn victim of the invasion of the body snatchers and goes, more will come soon.
I've prepared for what must be done.
The time is now.
Yep.
Jesus.
That's not good talk, Annie. That's not good talk.
Yeah, and then at this point, Paul goes, hang on. How about you postpone the thing that the voice of God told you so that we can finish the book together? It's just you and me, like a family. And that's all it takes to fucking convince her. Yep, okay, I'll make you dinner.
Yeah, I'll start on the taters. You get to typing. Taters and typing. So yeah. But he's like, I'll have it done by dawn, and then we'll just fucking off each other. Whatever, man.
Sick.
No big deal. No big deal.
I got a needle, I got a gun, and I got 2 bullets in it because I don't have any foresight whatsoever.
Yeah, nope.
Load the whole fucking gun, dude. This guy's not been, like, super happy about your existence the whole time that you've kept him.
Yeah, you're going to want to probably pop at least 2 in him and then 1 in yourself.
Get a contingency bullet in the 6-shot revolver.
Yeah, you've got 6.
Maybe your aim sucks.
Oh, yeah, well, it's going to when Paul thumbs your goddamn eyes out.
Yeah. So, book's done. Paul goes, my ritual. And he goes, I'm going to need 3 things. She goes, what things? And then he goes, how the fuck don't you know that, bitch? You know everything.
Yo, what's wrong with you?
She's like, JK. It's the champagne I can't pronounce because I say Dom Perignon.
Yeah, she does.
And 1 cigarette and a match.
I like, though, when she's like, yeah, Don Perignon? And he's like, yeah, Don Perignon.
Whatever the fuck you say, man, at this point.
Go get it.
Sure.
And so I don't know where she went in this little town.
That's exactly what who the fuck just has this lying around?
Oh, yeah, general store. Oh, yeah, Don Perignon. Just fucking, I got that vintage right here.
I want the extremely high-end champagne that's hard to get.
Ah, yes, I ordered that 10 years ago and nobody wants it. I've got that right here.
What a coincidence.
So, yeah, she goes and gets that. And when she comes back in, Paul's got the book all nice and tidied up on the floor.
Turns out, while Paul was in the basement, he shoved some lighter fluid in his asshole.
Because he's a thinker.
Yeah, he is.
He's a thinker with his stinker.
And I hate you so much. I want you to know that.
I'm sorry.
Dear God, with that.
My bad. My bad, everybody.
Fuck. So, yeah, while she's gone, that shit gets doused. And she comes in from getting a second glass for her. She's really excited at this point.
Oh, yeah.
This is like her life's dream.
She's probably never had a Don Perignon.
Yeah. And this is when Paul chooses to go, hey, bitch, I got the ending to your fucking book. It's right here in my hand, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the match. Bam. Burns it. Burns it all.
Oh, my God.
And he says... I remembered this line because it's the same as those old anti-drug marijuana commercials. It was like, where the fuck did you get these drugs from? I learned it from you.
Yes. I guess I learned it from you.
Oh my God.
That is exactly what he says.
It does the most traumatic thing humanly possible to this woman, which is burn the book before she gets a chance to read the end. She had spent so much time being excited about reading the end, like, oh, don't tell me what happens. Does Ian get with Winthorpe?
Oh, yeah, just names?
Yeah, just some names. You don't fucking explain shit about it.
Do things happen to names? Name 1, name 2? And she's like, no. She's on her knees, just like, I don't know what she's like gonna like pull the book out of the fire.
Yeah, I don't know.
Still read it or something.
Doesn't matter though, because Paul picks that fucking typewriter up and trucks her in the brain skull with it.
Oh God!
And she takes that shit like Muhammad Ali.
Yep. It's like
doesn't give a fuck about the 50-pound typewriter that just got dropped on her head.
like he's been lifting that thing up and putting it down for 4 weeks.
Oh, which is funny because he sure has. Little did you know, I was practicing bludgeoning you over the head with this.
Yeah. Oh my God. Thanks for the weapon.
Fuck's sake.
It doesn't matter. The end doesn't work. In the end, nothing's gonna work.
No.
Just.
So she's trying to fuck. She's more concerned about the fact that a little bit of her sweater caught fire than the gaping wound in her head, probably at this point.
Yeah, or at least a dent. There's got to be a flat part from that.
Yeah. And so now I'm pissed. And now we get, and this, I'm going to be quite honest, one of the best climaxes, like one of the most fitting for the movie climaxes of any movie.
I agree.
We get a pretty realistic fight between these two people where they're back and forth. There's one way or the other. Somebody's eyes get poked out yet somehow still work. Another person's head gets smashed through the window. She gets Annie gets the fucking hard cold palm of his hand to the nose.
Oh,
hard.
yeah. Busted nose, bones up in the skull.
Yeah. And then we get fucking down in the nitty gritty on the floor, rolling around, fucking pulling hair. And then in perfect poetic justice, beautiful.
Oh my God.
Paul crawls out into the hallway and there's just a pig statue. And he cranks her with that fucking thing.
Oh, does he ever?
So good.
While they're before that, they're rolling around. I thought you were gonna mention because the book's all burnt all over the floor. He just like starts picking it up and jamming it into her mouth.
Forgot he did that.
He's just like, eat it. You want it? Here it is. Eat it.
Fucking eat it. And he calls her like a psycho bitch.
Yeah.
So like I was thinking, you had to sell. Rob Reiner had to sell this script to like a studio, like a group of people. He's sitting down in the boardroom with Castle Rock Entertainment. And goes, okay, for this scene, and I don't remember fucking Paul's real name, but the character Paul, he's going to get on top of poor Kathy Bates and stuff her throat full of burnt book for 10 seconds. He's going to shove it right down her gullet.
How much do you need?
We're really getting back at Kathy Bates for Dolores Claiborne in this movie.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, that pig doorstop.
Yeah, dude.
Pig.
Yeah.
Pig doorstop.
Fucking 10-pound hammer shaped like a pig.
And at one point during this fight, before that happens, Paul clocks her with something, and she's down, and he's like, "Oh, that's that."
Yeah.
Crawls out in the hallway. She jumps on his back again, and then pig doorstop.
Pig doorstop.
And then you can tell she's dead by the way she is.
She falls face first onto that typewriter and just.
Oh, that's what it is, right?
Done.
Yes, I forgot about that.
And it was actually like her fucking wet fish of a body at this point. So when she gets hit by the pig, she like stands up stunned for a sec because her brain is dying. And then and then flops over with all of her weight head first onto this poor typewriter. Her fucking head really gets it.
Oh, it's so good.
Fuck's sake. And then, because now, naturally, there's been a sheriff murdered, and he responsibly has reported where he's left the station in order to go visit, probably. We can just assume that Paul gets saved because he does.
Yes, somewhere in between there and now.
He gets all good and saved.
And he goes to a real doctor.
Yep. And that doctor makes it so that he can just limp with a cane instead of being crippled eternally, which is nice.
Yeah, because at this point his legs were more like tentacles.
It's just sacks of goo. It's like uncooked sausage links attached to his waist.
Nothing really rigid or weight bearing about it.
No,
to be honest,
it's goddamn spaghetti in there. The end of the movie is just fucking Paul talking about this fictional book that he wrote for himself and super unenthusiastic about how everybody loves it with his agent in a nice room. And the waitress comes over and goes, are you fucking Paul? Because I'm your number one fan. And let me tell you, I would never want to hear that phrase ever again in my life.
No, absolutely not.
That would make me, make you my least favorite fan in the world.
Before that, though, the agent's like, hey, how do you feel about writing a book about what went on in that house?
Yeah.
And he's like,
so pissed right off, dude. Let me think
about that. Reliving my greatest nightmare. Oh, yeah, for sure.
The worst thing that's ever happened to me. Let's put it to page for a month and a half.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a great agent.
Fuck. And yeah, that's the movie.
Fucking great movie.
I knew it was a good movie. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, dude. Stephen King's movie adaptations have been hit and miss. This one's one of the better ones for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Out of 10?
Out of 10, for me, I give it a good 8.
I did 8.5.
All right.
I really, like, I was trying to, like, manufacture things to complain about for half of it because I was just it's just good.
Mm-hmm.
They do a good job with, like, it mostly being set in one location. Like, they keep it popping. I wasn't really bored. And it's not too long. It's like fucking hour and 40 minutes. Cool.
Yeah, the only thing I had to complain about was the fact that, like, right at the beginning, Paul is just, he's not even like, what are these pills?
Yeah, he did ask, but after he had taken them sometimes.
Oh, yeah. And, like, he's like, you're not even, like, going to show me your, like, you're a nurse for sure? Let's see.
You got your medical license around? Just kicking around in this house?
Didn't ask questions, but, well, you know, whatever.
Also, during the hobbling, like, he didn't bring up I read about the baby deaths. I read about the fact that you fucking put your hand over babies' mouths and noses for months and months, probably.
Yeah, what seems like what you're doing right here seems on par for a baby killer. You fucking bitch.
I'd just be calling her baby killer Annie for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
You want to have dinner with me, you baby murderer?
You baby killing bitch.
So I had kind of a hard time coming up with themes for this one.
Okay.
Because really, like, what do you have? You got fucking being held hostage.
Yeah.
And being held hostage.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that finally you've got a tough one now.
Yeah. So I did come up with 3. But they're very overarching, like they're super broad.
Okay.
So the first one is another horror movie about a writer.
Okay.
I have one about secretly dangerous caretakers.
Okay.
And I have one about obsessive relationships. Being stuck in a place with somebody who's obsessed with you, really.
Let's do that caretaker one.
We're watching Ma.
Ma?
Now, this is a movie that has you remember the movie The Help and the black actor in it who bakes shit into a pie and makes her not owner, but let's be honest, because that's what the fucking owner eat it.
I remember that part of the movie. Yeah, I never watched it, but I do remember that.
So it's that actor, that woman, and it's about a bunch of teens who find out that she really enjoys partying in her basement.
All right. Well,
I have never seen it. That's the other thing.
I've never seen it either.
I had 2 movies that I hadn't seen and 1 movie that I had. For the writers, it was Sinister.
Okay.
And then for the obsessive relationships, it was one called The Roommate, which was made around like the late 2000s, that era where every horror movie, like every 3 months, there was a horror movie about teens getting in trouble. In some way or another.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well,
Ma.
Yeah, I think we probably got the better out of the 3 then.
There's a decent chance, yeah. I watched the trailer and it looks very fun.
Okay, well, Ma next week then.
Yeah. Hopefully you people have heard of it because I hadn't.
I also haven't, so...
it's not going to be like Winter Beast. Don't worry.
Yeah, because you watched the trailer. This
is from like 2016 or something.
Okay, if it's bad, this is on you.
No, it's fine.
You watched the trailer.
No, I'm taking a risk on this one.
All right.
For sure.
All right.
You have some of your notes here that you forgot.
Yeah, there's a scene where they're fighting.
Yeah.
And Paul, when she clocks her head off of the typewriter, that's caused by Paul tripping her, but he like grabs his pant leg.
He just chucks his dirty leg in her way.
His fucking dead leg. He uses his pant leg like a puppeteer and just fucking kicks her leg out from underneath her.
Yeah, he does. I forgot about that shit. He wields them shits like a flail.
Yeah, and she fucking cracks her head off the typewriter and it's a delightful like page return chime. Love it. What a good movie.
Great movie. Grindhouse Movie Club.
All right.
We made it.
Book out of here. Do you have anything you want to end the podcast with?
Check the weather forecast before you go outside.